We can start in 1 minute.
We didn't post that, I don't think.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, cool.
Oh, what's up, dude?
Can you message her on Facebook, please?
Oh, okay. Thanks, dude. That's just mildly disgusting. What is libertarianism? What really is libertarianism?
I'm not clicking on the link ever.
I don't know.
Like your socks.
Like that was.
I like your socks. I just like you.
I'm just gonna, can I put this over there?
Go for it.
Thank you.
I'll take it.
I really like you.
Oh, gonna step on something. Okay. This is like a documentary. Okay.
That's a really poorly filmed
Is that good? Is that okay? And then I guess like we can move it when there's a presentation.
Geez, I know that.
Okay, Daphne, you can start anytime.
Okay. I'm gonna start. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming to this meeting, even though it's exam season. I call this meeting to order at 1:32 p.m. April 18th. To my understanding, attendance-wise, everybody is here with the exception of Adam and Steve and Maddie, it seems like, could not make it today. Justin will be coming late at 2:30 p.m. Therefore, we do need a quorum. I'd like to turn everyone's attention to the meeting agenda. I think we would like to keep the meeting short, hopefully in 2 hours, so that we can allot time for further discussion for later on. Are there any amendments to the agenda I sent out? Right?
Motion to move at least the internal portfolio professional update to the beginning of the meeting so that I can leave early because I'm an academic.
Okay, should we have a mover?
I'll move.
Moved by Dan, seconded by Alex. Okay, so any other amendments?
Can you do
No? Okay. Be it resolved that the agenda will be adopted as presented.
I have a point of order.
Yeah.
I just like to point out, Alex just realized as well that executives aren't actually allowed to.
Motion.
Oh,
I don't think you can. It probably doesn't matter, but if we're gonna do it properly,
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So you can.
How does that work? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But
I'll move it. Wait.
Moved. Seconded.
okay, so moved by Rachel and seconded by Ben. So
Board members.
now we resolve that the agenda will be adopted as presented. Sorry. Oh, no.
I'm an amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah, amendment. Can we move my presentation to the end of the meeting?
Okay, sure. Mover and seconder.
Moved. Seconded.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we'll be moving to item 1 on the agenda.
Okay, so the most important thing I really want to talk about is basically software movers. So there's actual progress on that front. This has been asked about for a while, so I do have some stuff to talk about. Just let me pull up the. The date is now scheduled for May 30th. That is a Saturday. And we are going to be pulling in club executives, club presidents, and service council members, chairs, and executives, and bringing them for a orientation. It's going to start at 9:30 in the morning. We're going to be starting off, like, depending on capacity and how many people RSVP, we're either going to be having it up on the 9th floor, and then in breakout rooms up to school, or CPA hall breakfast first, and then up in 491, and then breakout. So just depending on capacity. We're bringing in a number of alumni and guest speakers, people who have performed these roles as club presidents or as members in the past. Jess Tech from the alumni office will be working heavily in that regard to recruit the people. As well, we've requested several CUS representatives for several workshops. So I'll be facilitating with either Linda Thomasini or Lauren Benha. That is the event logistics workshop, so just dealing with third parties. I will reach out to people individually to talk to them to see if they're available to help co-present at these workshops. So Taylor, I think you know this, but you are running a workshop. Okay. You've been requested to run a finance and budgeting workshop. Not necessarily just for like creating budgets, but also for the year. So the focus is really to provide value moving forward and really remind people why they've joined these services, why they've joined these clubs, to give back to provide actual value to the community. As well, they are planning on doing one or two more of these get-togethers later in the school year. So that has yet to be completely set out, but we're working on that right now. As it stands, the three main people behind this event are Shannon Sterling, Jess Tang, and myself. So we're working closely together, and I have another meeting scheduled with her on Friday to continue updating on the progress of the event. I believe the catering and facility space is already taken care of. So I think we have the space and food ready. Now we need the people, so we're working on that over the next couple of weeks. Any questions?
I have a question. So, is there a networking portion? Are board members going to be invited, or executives going to be invited if they're not hosting a workshop?
I'm under the impression that board members and executives will all be invited as well. So we expect that you do attend. There may not necessarily be a formal networking portion, but there is time allotted towards the end of the day right now that is more like space right now. So we're figuring out what to do with it. There will likely be a networking portion, or at least an informal networking portion where people get together and like talk to people of the same position. So all VP finances, for example.
What day did you say this was?
May 30th, Saturday.
Some of my specialists mentioned that they're really interested in helping out with that.
Yeah.
Because they've been noticing that it's just impossible to get some of them like overview of properly communicate some knowledge standards, so we can get people in a room in a workshop of how certain like frequently violated policies work.
Yeah, we have a workshop set up for best practices in interviewing.
Okay.
The problem is that the majority of interviews should be conducted and like finalized by them. But it's still something good for people to know, especially for hiring your reps later on in September.
Yep.
And just like for like career development as a whole. So we will still be conducting that workshop. And I'm still talking with Shannon to figure out who to invite in that regard.
Point of privilege.
Yes.
Can I go get the recording system so that we can hook it up there and so Angela can have a better time of doing the minutes? Can I leave and get the recording? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Then my professional update is concluded.
All right. Okay, so we'll move on to the second item of the agenda. I guess we should do the executive reports first. And anyway, is that okay with everyone?
We all move to the.
A seconder?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Ryan. So, the president's not here right now, so vice president academic affairs.
Not here.
Not here. And then external affairs, is he on Skype or?
I do not believe he is here.
Okay, external affairs. External affairs? No.
Revision.
Yeah, finance? No.
Yeah. So basically, the extent of my update is we're just finishing up with hiring finance positions. So we'll probably be sending out emails and phone calls to people that were selected tomorrow or early next week.
Okay. Is that everything?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Marketing?
Yeah, I don't have too many updates either. Majority is that hiring is done through my portfolios. We are meeting with perspectives and finalizing it. Oh, yeah, so we were contacted about business cards, and there was a change that the faculty wanted to make. Yes.
Where they talked about basically how the back of business cards are
are due. So if like recruiters or anybody wants to take notes, also me and Fred are working on that. As well. Pages. Good. Perfect. Yeah, and then first year handbook. So next is personal questions. Oh,
When do we get business cards?
we're gonna be designing them in the summer.
September.
Any other questions?
Regarding on the quantity, I realized that in the past years, a lot of people on board have told me that they can't finish their business cards. Are we going to possibly change it so we don't waste so many?
To print less?
Yeah.
I believe the,
I believe what we have is like a standard minimum, but like we'll be in negotiations with the printing company.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and no more questions? Okay, so, student engagement?
Yeah, so for my update, Adrian and I have been meeting with our customer services. This week we met with all of them, just to make sure that they're all on track. Beginning of the summer, make sure that they're all following the proper hiring procedures and doing their website or their job posting on the website. Other than that, there's not too much going on right now. We have, working a lot on the first year handbook, creating these videos, as well as, meeting up with Shannon for the mentorship program. So we had a long discussion about the mentorship program, and we'll be presenting it later on. So.
All right, okay.
And sorry, just that, I sent you guys all the documents, so if you guys can just quickly take a look through it before we go.
Any questions for Alex? No? Okay, so the president, can you do your professional?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so couple of things, and especially since Badam's not here, I'm gonna do half of this report. So first thing is WCLR, which is, I don't know if you guys know about CABS, it's the Canadian Association or Business Association, yeah. So they have their Western Leadership Conference, and unfortunately I can't go. So I've actually appointed Taylor to be my proxy there, and Ruth will be going there as well, along with our 2 JDC West captains. So everyone will be going to WCLR, and what that is basically a leadership conference. I'm not sure Ben's been to it before, so that's kind of an update. So we'll be budgeting for that, and you should expect, Taylor to maybe update you guys on after he comes back from WCLR. It's in early May. The second thing is website redesign. I'm not sure if Maddie already touched or, okay, great. So we are looking to redesign our website, and our IT director has generously offered to help, but at a cost, obviously. I've been received the quotes, and I think it's my quote would be discounted rate of $450 for around 30 hours of work on top of what we already paid him. I think we paid around $2,500. So I've created a doc, and what I want, and I'm going to send it to everybody. I've sent it to Maddie and Alex already. But basically, I know it's exam season, but if you guys ever take a break, please take a moment to look at our website and see if the things that you might want to improve about it, because this is a pretty big redesign that we're looking at. We're looking at a whole change of interface, even a change of how it's structured, how it's organized. So if you guys have the time, I would really appreciate it if you guys looked at our website, gave us some feedback on what we might want to change, and also even look at websites from other schools or how other websites are formed, and kind of put your links there so that we can gain some inspiration of how we want our website to look. And I think this is a really exciting thing for us, given that it's our year and we really want to change things. I think the website is a really great way to do it. Next is AMS consultation tuition increase. So I'm actually going to have a meeting with AMS, I think on Wednesday. My birthday, so fun. And they're going to be talking about the tuition increases. So basically, UBC for international students, I'm not sure if you guys received the email, but there's a 10% increase in tuition. And for domestic, I believe it's 2%. So how does that affect us? So basically, when there's things like these, the CUS should really be hosting consultations with our students. So kind of doing, whether it's feedback forms or town halls, and what town hall is basically kind of a group chat in CPA with all the students and their opinions on how we should handle this tuition, and basically how we can better support our students during this time with this tuition increase. I don't have much details about this yet because I still have to have our meeting with the AMS to see how all the other faculties are going to run their consultations, but keep an eye out for that. That we will be doing those. It's quite important. Does anyone have questions about the consultation? Or if I can clarify anything about tuition increases? Yeah.
Sorry, who's going to be there? Like,
Well, I'm not sure if it's actually on Monday or Wednesday. I know Wednesday's gonna be a pretty long meeting with AMS. You'll be there. But I know that yesterday they had a meeting about it and I couldn't go because I had work. So I can touch base with you because you're the AMS rep. So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
But Monday or Wednesday, I'll send you an invite.
Perfect.
Okay, next thing is I'm going to be going to, Vadim and I are going to be going to the BCC satisfaction results. So you know the survey that they sent out? Ruby, which is their co-op intern student, she's actually going to be presenting on the results of that survey. So I'll be going to that on on Tuesday after my exam with Vadim. And I will report back to you, or Vadim will report back to you of, the results and what students think about the BCC and how the CUS can kind of help with that. Secondly, sorry, it's a long report. Accountability report. So I'm going to be talking about this later on in the meeting, but basically I'm going to start doing, basically getting the execs and the board to do some sort of report for everyone to see, just so that we can hold each other accountable, especially during the summer. And also I was hoping that I could work with HR to start doing performance reviews. So basically working on a rubric this summer to see how people are doing, keeping them accountable. They're going to be quarterly. So I just want to get that ball rolling and let you guys know about that.
Do you want to ask a question? I was just wondering for the performance reviews, is that for people in the in the portfolios, or is that like for board members?
It's for executives. Board members have a different thing, but I have a presentation on it. But I just wanted to kind of preface it beforehand. Also, I missed Maddie's report. Did you mention about the meeting with Christina? Okay, so Maddie and I are going to be meeting with the marketing department faculty side, so Christina and all the people that you guys met at the meet and greet. That meeting is going to be on Monday. So Maddie and I will be coming back with kind of what we talked about, especially with the website redesign. It's great to have faculty insight, and also just to see how we can better kind of not have redundant communication to our students. I'm sure a lot of students are a bit overwhelmed with the amount of communication bombarded to them and all the messages that are quite similar. So what I'm hoping, the goal of this meeting is to really streamline our efforts and make sure that the things that we are promoting, there's a purpose behind it and other parties aren't promoting it already. Another thing that I'm kind of in the midst of is exec check-ins. I know I scheduled all my check-ins with all the execs before I leave. So that's something that I've been working on, just really casual coffee date or lunch or grocery drinks, just to see where everyone's at. The next is track letters. So Linda Gully actually messaged me to write the letters for the TREC program. So historically the CUS hasn't done that, but since we are funding the TREC programs, last year the executives thought that it'd be really great if we could just kind of have a congratulations letter from the CUS, just so that students know that we are behind these TREC programs and it's not just the BCC. So I have to write those by Sunday. So just an FYI, we have letters for the TREC program. And finally, I'm going with coffee with Michelle Watson on Wednesday, just to kind of get her feedback on the CUS. She said really great things about us. So we just wanted to meet up and touch base just to see how she thinks about the CUS and how we can improve and stuff like that. So that's quite exciting. And lastly, I've heard amazing things from the meet and greet. A lot of faculty members have messaged me back saying how wonderful we are. And I know Linda Gully said that it felt like a new season for the CUS. So all good things from the meet and greet. So thank you so much for the people who went. And for the people who didn't go, please make an effort to maybe just say hi to faculty members. Say, hey, sorry I missed the meet and greet. I wish I would have met you, but I look forward to meeting you or something like that. Okay, and that is all I have to report.
That's all.
Yes, that's all. Yeah.
Someone who has Skype, I don't have it on here, Skype and Ruth to do that.
I have Ruth on. I have two guys on site.
Okay, they just posted the thing.
Would Ruth like to make his report? Would you like to make your executive report? Yeah.
Really nothing's happened. We're still in hiring. No one is hired yet. And other than that, nothing much. I'll be meeting with every single one of my, again, conference or portfolio as soon as I get into Vancouver. So the first week of May, I'll be meeting with all of them. And we'll be discussing, I guess, goals and things of that nature. Other than that, they're all still hiring. And as I
have a question for the VP External. Sorry, did you say that they haven't started hiring or they haven't hired their teams yet? Because there's been a lot of events on Facebook. I said, can you clarify, did you say that they haven't started hiring yet or they haven't hired their first?
They're in the hiring process.
Okay, because I was like, I saw a bunch of events, so just an FYI.
They're all in the hiring process.
Okay, great,
They just
and
haven't,
great, I have another question for the
supposed
VP.
to have basically kind of been done, I guess. But what happened was they didn't end up posting it on the CUS website. And so they had to extend their hiring week.
We've also had other services like Top 40 really struggle with getting proper job definitions down, so we've had to push on that as well.
Okay.
So yeah, the top 40, yeah, I can mention that as well. The top 40, so Verona didn't get the hiring information, like things of that nature from Utah. They didn't really have anything. And so she had to basically develop all the stuff again. I'm pretty impressed with her. I feel like she is actually putting in quite a bit of work. And yeah, she's pretty confident that she's going to improve from last year. And so I guess we'll be working with her quite a bit to make sure that it doesn't tank as it did in the previous year. It didn't do as well as it should have done. So yeah, again, they're all in the hiring process. They've all started it. There have been some challenges, mainly with top 40. NSCC is doing well. The rest are all, I guess, pretty fantastic, just top 40.
Okay, and how is that CR looking with Anthony and his team?
Well, I mean, so he what was it? Last time I spoke to him, he was doing his contributing. I haven't spoken to Anthony in a couple of days.
We just completed all the interviews.
What?
We just completed all interviews with CR.
Yeah.
He's just
so,
waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, so he hasn't hired yet. I'm just seeing maybe. Or yeah, he hasn't mentioned anything with hiring yet, but yeah. Completed all the interviews. I looked at the candidates. There were a lot of good candidates. I think, Raffles, do you know the number of people who applied?
Applications, I thought it was around 25.
Yeah, it was a really good turnout. Solid number of applications. Anthony was happy with it. So yeah, we should have that soon. Again, I'm meeting with him as well on the first week of May, so I'll be meeting with you too. So I'll have, I guess, my more thorough update by then.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I'm guessing that all the executive reports are done. So now we're going to move on to the first, I guess, item on the presentation of board of directors, which will be the mentorship program presentation by Alex and Adrian.
Thanks, Rachel.
Hi guys, so you guys should have received some documents that I was forwarded to by Resident Elton about the mentorship program, including the budget, which is very important, and some contingencies that they want to present to us. So unfortunately, they can not be here today, but Adrian and I will go over what we talked about last time with Shannon. We had a very long meeting with Shannon last Monday. We talked heavily about the mentorship program and what we feel from the CUS side can be improved upon, and from the mentorship side, what can be improved on too. So if you open up the budget, the first thing,
Okay, the budget last was probably the biggest thing you guys have questions for. So we'll go over the general outline of the mentorship
I
program.
think there was a question.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember them mentioning that the budget was significantly less than what's shown on the spreadsheet.
No, we have, we'll like get to it. Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah. So I guess general outline. So after
Point of information.
Yeah.
What document should I have open?
all of them. And like,
Do you guys have a PowerPoint or?
no, we don't, because we're literally getting this.
So which document should I be looking at right now?
1 second.
That I can just reference?
Sure.
You plug in your computer.
Yeah.
there you go.
I have the Mac adapters over there.
Yeah, but no, but then it's really hard to get to.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not, because then.
Alex, did you say there's a spread that goes by?
Yeah, it's on his phone.
But like,
Click onto the.
I didn't have an Excel file.
It's on the 28th.
Oh, wait, no,
Well,
I guess
my
I'm-
birthday's on 29th.
Okay, I'm aware. But I'll find someone. I'll find someone.
So close.
You want to the AMS? Did you just like get shut up? Yeah. Nice.
Is it worth for anyone else?
Yeah, I don't know where that's. Oh, wait, for us?
PC back.
It's actually weird.
Okay, 6 people watching our live stream.
Who's one of them? One of them's in this.
I know one of them is
No.
me.
I have a question about live streams. Can you like switch computers in the middle? Or is that not? Like if you're recording, can you? Okay.
Why?
Because maybe next time I can record it because I actually have a camera here.
Oh, what?
Sorry, I didn't realize that the other
Oh.
didn't, so we started. So next time.
Wait, you and Taylor have the same computer service?
Yeah.
So
But he has
you like multi-view now.
Oh my God. Taylor, we just like face it towards each other.
No. Okay, no, you turn your computer like this. So you put that computer here.
Oh my God, that's so tricky.
Well, we want the internet move, yeah.
Okay, how do I access?
Thanks, guys.
Okay, just
I appreciate that.
Sorry about the difficulties. So right now, like, screen's really bad. But when we had our meeting on Tuesday with Shannon and Elton Reza, we went over our concerns with the project and what we wanted from it and what they wanted from it. So main thing we wanted from the last board meeting that we didn't get was the structure of the organization. So this is very like sort of what they want. So they're calling their like I guess their team champions to make it sound cool. So they have like their finance champ, marketing champ, information champ, and then their chair is co-chair. I say chair / co-chair because Rez is going to be here next year, but it's still undecided whether Elton will be here or not. He said he would let us know within 2 weeks whether or not he'll be here next year. Now underneath that comes their engagement champions. They put like a number of them, but again, the engagement champions can change. Basically, if you guys don't like remember for Imagine Day, for Mug leaders and Mug squad leaders, we have squad leaders and the adult Mug leaders and the squad leaders. So for the engagement champions, there would be one engagement champion, and they said they would have 5 leaders underneath each engagement champion. So leaders, from what we talked about with them, would ideally be 4th-year students. So this goes directly into the pod structure of how the mentorship program goes to work. So Elton and Reza both want that 1-to-1 ratio, where it's 1 4th year, 1 3rd year, 1 2nd year, 1 1st year. However, both Alex and I agree that is not feasible, and considering the amount of first years that are going to come in, they're going to want to participate in this program. We said they have to like loosen up the structure. So they had a meeting with the Dean's Advisory Board and with the Dean, which we'll go into later. But basically the Dean came up with the idea of saying that teams be put into a pyramid-like structure. So you have 1 4th year and multiple 1st years, a couple 2nd years, a couple 3rd years, just so you have bigger teams. But Elton and Reza both want to keep the teams small. So they're going to try and find a balance with this. We'll be working with them during hiring to make sure things are figured out properly. So this goes into how teams are put together. Basically, it's not really determined yet how teams are going to work together because the last thing they want to do is have confliction within the teams. So basically they want us to do it based on like diversity, length of time commitment to the program, class schedules, and like summer individual development. So diversity, basically another concern they brought up to us is a lot of international students here at Sauder. They really want to reach out to them and not have them mixing with their own group like international students usually do, where they stay with their own crowd and usually intermingle with local people. So they really want to fix that. Yep.
And one of the things that we're doing with this program is also trying to integrate with other services that CUS already offers. So for example, something to do with ISAP, CISA, coming soon to be CISA, so that they can try to create a better program for students to better integrate. One thing they also mentioned is that they're trying to integrate the board of directors into the hiring process of the program. So they really want input of the full CUS representation in terms of how the program's going to run.
So to add on to that, this goes into another thing up here, but was mentioned in the meeting. So when it comes to deliberation for how teams put together, ideally what they want is they want Michelle Watson on the board, someone from the CUS, so a CUS exec member. They said ideally Alex or me or anyone else. And they want the entire board there, or ideally just one of each of the reps each of the year. So they want input from everyone, including Shannon Sterling will be there as well. It's going to be a huge committee, but they want it so it's a proper representation of everyone in solder in order to ideally how ideal the team should be combined together.
Point of information for the
Yeah.
chair, are we asking questions after the presentation or can we ask during? After.
So that's how teams are being made. And then
In terms of, so one of the main problems that we did bring up in our meeting is that, first years are always looking to get involved, always trying to find ways of getting into the program. And as this is a limited program, there might be some, rejection of first years trying to join the program. So they put together a kind of a plan to when students aren't, or how to select students and how to, let's say, not accept them, what the best, why it is, why contingency of why it's going to be that way. So for example, here this is what they've written so far. That is going to be a one-to-one format, as we discussed. That is still based on, we're still going to discuss that, as we do feel that the pyramid scheme might be a little bit better in terms of the situation. Not scheme, the pyramid structure.
Okay, back on track, guys, let's go.
So basically, in order, the pyramid structure, which you're talking about, in order to implement that, they said that they wanted it so if fourth years felt like they could handle more people in their group, then they would allow them to. So essentially, it would be first come, first serve. So when first year sign up, whoever gets in first be on the team, and you basically put on the wait list. So fourth years say yes, I can take on 3 or 4 more fourth years. The next person on the wait list gets put on a different team. Again, another problem we saw with this is it's entirely reliant on how many fourth years actually apply to this. Talking to Shannon, she said that there were 24 or 25 fourth years who were spark leaders, and 2 of them being fifth years.
Our little Tay-Tay.
So Alex and I were both pretty, again, we're sort of hesitant on the amount of fourth years we're going to do this. Again, we will try and market this heavily as we can and get as many fourth years into it as possible. Again, talking to Shannon, she said again, one of the biggest issues was a lot of ex-Frost leaders feel, some of the ex-Frost leaders feel sort of hurt after the whole incident. And so a lot of them don't really apply to be leaders anymore. So again, that's a big thing that Alex and I will be working on this year, to get a lot of fourth years involved, especially with this program. And so now I think the biggest concern what everyone's thinking about is the budget in terms of how this looks in the funding project. So where's this? All right, so I already went through a little bit with Elton and Reza last night. There are some things that are still contingent, but here's the rough outline. I'll remind you rough outline of how the CUS will fund this project. They are approved for 50% Dean's funding. So which means that the number you see here is going to be split in half, and we'll go into more specifics now. So I think it's better if you guys pull up your computer, you might not. So basically what they said the biggest controversy, in which you guys probably will assume, is the $20,000 float they're asking for. So yes, I know, let me explain. So the total amount they're asking from the CUS is $20,625, and and the other half is funded by the dean. So each of us will be splitting or having $20,625.
This program is $40,000.
Yes.
So it's like an NIBC conference.
Yes. And what they said the biggest controversy here for you guys to think about would be the $20,000 float. We'll have questions at the end.
My numbers don't line up with yours. I don't know why.
What numbers do you have?
The CUS and Dean's office are apparently 21,625. You said 20.
I'll update it.
Notice the one I sent to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one in Google Drive.
That one.
Might have been updated once I sent it to you.
I have 20K.
You have 20K?
Yeah.
I went 21,625.
Are we looking at different
That's
things?
not the right one.
So is it's 20, not 21?
It should be one second. Yeah.
Okay, I see it, 21, yeah.
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Oh, yeah, it's 21. Yes, it's 21.
Yeah, it's 21.
There you go.
Oh, it's just.
Okay, so the document we have is on Google Drive. We're going to make the assumption
Yeah,
that they
this is the
updated it,
updated version.
that they
So
updated
the one I sent you was from
last night,
2 hours ago.
2 hours, never mind.
Yeah. So it may have been updated since then. Our resident
Elton.
Yeah. So the biggest thing I was going to talk about is $20,000 float. You might be wondering where that comes from. So the whole plan for the mentorship program is that each pod or each team will do an activity each week. In that terms of either going to hike, achieve some sort of activity that's outside of soccer. And the whole plan is that we would be reimbursing them $20 per person per month. So they're expecting 200 students with 50 alumni. That's 250 people in total times 4 months, 1,000 times by $20 per person. So that's where you get $20,000 from. In terms of their events, they want to have a kickoff event for 5,000 in the beginning, 5,500, 3,500. 3,500 in December, as well as like alumni thank you throughout the year for January, 1,250. Marketing, what was that say? Marketing collaterals, $1,000, and leadership training, $12,000. So this is their budget that they sent to us. In terms of the breakdown for kickoff events, so they designated two, so they designated $1,000 for decorations. I think the catering is still contingent, but they estimated $1,000. DJ and sound booth, $500. Swag, $2,000, and miscellaneous supplies, $1,000. Leaving $5,000 for kickoff events. And last time we spoke with Shannon as well, there seems to be some funding in the dean's office that will go towards this, as they already said, that's contingent, and that it's already 50% approved by the dean's office. So the total amount that they're asking for, I'm going to use this one for reference because this is updated one on Google Drive. It's $20,625.
Questions now, or?
Just correction on that, the $20,000 for the dean's office, when they spoke with the dean, we're not entirely sure what exactly the dean said. Shannon said that the dean seemed okay with the 50%, but the dean has not seen this budget yet. So,
Okay, well.
So we're discussing the meeting first before the dean even sees this. But what Shannon told us was that she has money allocated within her own budget towards this too, which she'll be putting up front.
But her budget is only 7,000.
Yeah, which is what
And
Shannon
she's seen the budget?
Shannon has not seen this from what far as I know, Shannon.
Who has seen this budget? Just us and
Just us
Reza?
so far.
So Reza has made this budget. This isn't a budget that was made by faculty.
Resident Elton has seen this, yeah. This is, yes, right.
To my understanding, we approved this contingent, or like based on the understanding that there would be very minimal cost to write this.
That's what we assumed as well. The original asking was $63,000 total for the entire program, but since then it's been cut down. And I think after we go over them a few more times, it can be cut down even more significantly in terms of how much they're asking for CUS.
At our last meeting, at our last board meeting, I believe we were under the impression that there was only one significant thing we needed funded.
We're under the exact same impression as well. But however, talking with them they said that they feel like it would be more beneficial to students if they actually had like weekly events to go to.
Point of information, can we start taking questions now?
Yes.
I think a lot of people.
Yeah, ask
Yeah.
the
First
answers.
answers.
Like we
Is
don't
there a
know.
speakers list?
Sure, yeah.
Again, just like beforehand, we don't know all the answers.
Yeah, yeah.
So we apologize.
I think it should be more like a discussion than
Yeah.
asking questions to you
Yeah,
guys.
but we'll try and answer as many things,
Thank
you know.
So I have Michael, Rachel, Ryan, Vanessa, Taylor, and
They're not on the speakers list.
Ben.
And Maddie.
And Maddie. Okay, so Michael,
So, yeah, first question,
Ready? Discussion? Yeah, go ahead.
I wanna know, how sustainable you think weekly activities would be?
So again, when we were talking with them, Shannon like literally has a drawer full of activities. It was like multiple just like files she pulls out. So right now they have a trial run going on with 14 teams, 56 people. And what they're doing right now, a lot of teams, like that's actually on somebody's one part of the team, he's mentioned that they feel like there's no structure to it. So they've gotten activities from Shannon and they're waiting on getting feedback from the groups to see how these activities work out. Again, the $20,000 that we allocated here is like the $20 per team per week. There may be some weeks where teams might not do anything at all, instead just like hang around and like talk. So that's just a possibility. But as for the sustainability of activities, again, we don't know.
Point of inquiry to what Michael asked. On that note, with the weekly activities, have they considered doing it bi-weekly or once a month? Because that cuts down our cost by a significant amount.
We'll definitely bring it up to them, and then like I think they ideally want once a week activities, but we'll talk about doing bi-weekly like official activities that require money instead of just meeting up weekly would be better.
Because I share Michael's concerns about this being feasible. Like even for me, I'm like I wouldn't be able to commit to a weekly activity.
No, exactly.
Also, you guys mentioned that it was like going to the chief, hikes like that, and so on and so forth. I think those activities could be done bi-weekly, if anything, but once a month ideally.
Yeah, again, the chief was just a random example. It wasn't actually part of the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just a random example.
Am I right to assume that the 20,000 is for those activities that would be happening weekly?
Yes, $20,000 for the week.
So-
So the cost could be cut down significantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just for clarification, we were just notified that yes, they agreed on 50%, split the dean's office, but they have not presented the full budget.
Apparently it's supposed to be under Shannon's supervision, so they'll probably meet with the dean again and discuss this further. Again, like after deliberation today, we can definitely go back to them and tell them to cut it down to bi-weekly or even monthly monetary activities instead of having like weekly or bi-weekly like just meetings that don't require any funding.
so next on the speakers list is Rachel.
2 questions. Number 1, reimbursement is up to $20 for each week. Doesn't matter how frequently it happens, but say like they do an activity that doesn't require money, they won't get money back, right? So there could be a lot of leftover.
Yes, could be
So
potential.
that the contingent on the float is that it's like a float, right? So there's a potential to not use it all, and I just go back towards the CUS funding.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have $20 like optional that you can spend. Remind you again, Adrian and I are not, we're just proxying, we're just trying to relay what we know so far. So we don't know the exact specifics of every single information and every single specific detail.
And just a concern, wouldn't that like kind of like instead of like watching a movie at someone's house, wouldn't that like be an incentive for them to go spend money just because they can? That's just a potential concern that
I think that's something
letting out
they
here.
want, because they want them to get outside and do stuff together.
Okay.
But again, like, it doesn't have to be like money.
And that's definitely up for discussion with them. We'll definitely make sure that they're addressing all these questions and concerns that you guys have.
Yeah. And sorry, last point. I'm currently in a experiment team, and it's very hard to commit to once a week. It's not realistic. It's really difficult.
Okay. Again, that can go something towards a feedback form.
Yeah.
I know they sent out a bunch of feedback forms to each student. And they're really looking forward to hearing what the students have to say about this program. Because it's still, don't remind you, it's still in very early planning phase. We still have a long way to go in terms of getting this actually rolling.
So right now it's all the feedback and getting things together.
Okay, next on the speakers list is Ryan.
Actually, Michael Rachel asked both my questions.
Okay, Vanessa. I have like a lot of questions, but that was one of them. I had a couple of questions in terms of like, in terms of just clarification on something. For the committee that we're creating, is that just for hiring or is it like?
It's not for hiring, it's for creation of like the pods.
Okay, but then after the pods are done, there's no committee, it's just self-run or?
The committee would still stay around and like do anything. It's ideally later on when the waiting list, or so when fourth years say that, oh, I can take on more students in second term.
So it's like ad hoc meetings after the whole like, okay, great. And then also because we're giving leaders the option to take as many mentees as they want, is there a plan to ensure that they won't drop mentees because they realize that they've overestimated the amount of mentees that they can take?
Again, that's where the training comes in with Shannon. Shannon's definitely going to, like she said, do a lot of training going over with. And again, that's also the reason why Elton Renzo would want to keep these teams small.
Yeah.
So I think it's also up to deliberation depending on if I say I want to take on more kids, more first years, I think there'll be like definitely discussion between Elton and Reza, and it may again involve the committee to see to determine whether or not that the fourth year can handle it.
Okay, great. And what are the benefits to the fourth years? Has it been confirmed that it's alumni that's going to be the benefit, or? Because I remember during my meeting with Reza, he said that fourth years are in it because they get like a mentor for them as well. So everyone kind of benefits. Did they mention that to you guys? I don't know if they scrapped the idea, but that was pretty good selling point.
I know they're still doing an alumni aspect to it.
Okay.
I don't know regarding that specific question that you asked. I know that there will be benefits for fourth years in terms of also meeting younger students. That's one of the main benefits here. But in terms of alumni, I can't address this specific question.
And then just my last question is, you mentioned that the dean's funding is contingent. What is it contingent on?
Well, they said it's, I don't remember what they said. Shannon has looked through it still, like you said. They said they're still confirming with Shannon, but right now, they did propose a 50 split, and they did agree with it. They don't know the exact budget.
I think they have to present the.
So it's contingent on that budget, I'm assuming.
They have to reach the Dean's Advisory Board and the Dean himself still. It's a budget.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so next in the speakers list is Taylor.
Okay, so I got two questions. First of all, do you know how they came to $12,000 for leadership training?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I think this is also based on the fact that in our meeting with Shannon, she said she had budget for up to 60 leaders for an offsite retreat. So I don't quote me on this, but the impression we got at the meeting was that Shannon's allocated budget for the training would come out of her budget when it comes to training leaders.
Okay.
Point of inquiry on that, if it's being done by Shannon, that cost could be cut significantly as well, right?
Yeah, it could be cut. Like again, we'll bring it up with them.
Yeah, don't forget this is the primary budget. Nothing's been overly.
Like first draft,
First
very,
draft.
very rough.
Is this one going to be shown to the dean, or are they waiting for you guys to go back to them and give them?
I think it
I would advise them
It would
to
be
do that.
best if like we talk to them first, they redo it, and then they show it to the dean, just so like it's easier that way when it comes to the next meeting.
The other question I have is, like, how is this gonna run? Are they asking for just like a check for this amount of money, like we would fund at IBC? Or are they like becoming a CUS service and we're reimbursing them when they spend the money?
From what I assumed, it would become a CUS service, in terms that we would have to reimburse them.
And then they'd be reimbursed.
Point of inquiry to add on to that point.
Yes.
If it becomes a COS service, would we expect Dean's funding 50% every year?
We definitely negotiate with that, but
Yeah,
ideally
we
that's
could.
what we would want.
Yeah, and especially if it's becoming a service, I think that's something we should kind of consider.
And I'll get my chair.
Any other questions from the board or executives?
No, Ben sorry.
Cliff, just sorry to add on to what Vanessa was saying. Yeah. You said if it becomes CUS service, there's other issues about like, because we gotta like follow the hiring policies, and I don't know how it works, having like someone from the.
Well, in terms of having a chair, What we've done in the past, we're including two services, the person who's implementing that service becomes the chair, for example, health and wellness. Immediately automatically become the chair because that is their service that they promoted or presented to the exec, which was approved already. So for this particular case, Reza and Elton, depending on whether he's here next year, will be the chairs of this program.
I would more be like the leaders, the selection committee or whatever.
It would still follow the CUS hiring procedure.
I honestly had like no idea what would work best following CUS policy. Like, would we be better as a club to have the committee, or would we be better as a service? Like, again, we can talk about that still, but I have no idea.
Okay, and I believe Ben, Raffles, and Maddie are next on speakers. So Ben.
Perfect. So yeah, first of all, thank you to covering two of my questions. I also have several. I'll preface this by saying at some point it may be appropriate to move this to committee because we don't have a lot of information as it stands right now. And so at some point we can't cover at this particular time everything we want to ask in this room. The first question I had was has there been any progress made in terms of student fees for the program? We discussed that further. Has that ever been brought up?
Like students like paying for themselves.
Yes.
That has not been brought up.
It's never been discussed at all.
No,
because we were under the complete impression that they would only have 2 events.
Okay.
So yeah, we never brought up that at that point. Yeah.
So as it stands now, the assumption is that there would be a $0 student fee.
Yes.
The second question was, I see these estimates here. I assume, of course, these are basically estimates. Well, first of all, is there a breakdown of any? Is there any further breakdowns of these?
Besides the starting events and the kickoff events, there's no further breakdown in terms of budget and how we got that actual amount. Besides what they told me about the flow amount, or $20 per person per month for 4 months.
Okay, perfect. And building on to that question, given that they are estimates, have they been classified at all as conservative estimates, as actual estimates, or anything like that? Like, do we have any idea if these are like more literal numbers, or?
From what I was reading yesterday, based on the budget, I'm assuming that these are more optimistic budgets, or sorry, conservative budgets. So going much beyond what they actually cost, just to be safe, especially for the float. And as I mentioned before, the float's very contingent based on what students do.
Okay. Perfect. And then I guess just the last question was generally, this is kind of a big topic, but looking at like the conditions of payment. So, usually like, and again, I guess this ties into a much bigger question of, do we take this on as a CUS service? But would there be, like, if we are making a one-time payment, which I'm not sure if that would be the structure of how this would work, would there be conditions? Like, would we say, okay, we will reimburse you for exactly half of the actual incurred expenses a few months down the road, based on a set of conditions to be met? Is that the framework that's currently being discussed?
We will discuss about it because again, the concern I thought of was if we do give them a check, Dean's office and CUS, if there's a surplus end of the year, it's going to be difficult finding out where that surplus goes to.
So that was my last question.
Yeah, so we will definitely talk to them about that, and we might have to talk to the Dean's office about that as well.
Thank you. I'll yield my questions then.
Raffles next?
Yeah, just with getting alumni involved, what's your plan for keeping them engaged? Because when I'm assuming as graduated young professionals, they're going to be getting job offers, they might be moving on to new projects in the company, or just having basically a lot more unpredictable lifestyle throughout the year.
Yeah, again, that's an excellent question. That would be more specific to Resident Elton. We're actually running the program. Again, Adrian and I are just here to present what we know so thus far. And we're not actually in charge of running the program.
Point of information, are you writing the notes just like?
I told them to watch, make sure.
Oh, perfect. Are they like live?
Not yet. They will tonight though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Maddie? Yeah, the majority of my questions were already asked. The biggest one was about reimbursement, which is reimbursed $20 each time.
Yeah.
So how that work? Yeah.
We will.
Again, everything's confidential. Like Adrian and I are only here for the purpose of presenting what we know thus far. We don't know the exact specifics of the budget and everything that's going to be operating around the budget.
Yeah, but we'll definitely talk about this.
Yeah, it's definitely something for us to discuss with them and make sure that it's a solid plan for the next 2 months.
Are there any questions aside from the budget?
I believe that is next one.
Okay.
Again, I doubt that you have the answer to this question, but I would like to make this as a matter of record. Are there going to be any contingencies or any safeguards in place against embezzlement? If they're getting basically a blank check for $20 a week, then what are the safeguards there?
Yeah.
I expect to get into that you don't have this
Yeah.
answer, but this
Something
is
definitely Rachel and I will bring up, make
Yeah.
sure that there's, we'll talk definitely with Taylor about, in terms of finance, making sure that there's some sort of strategic way and make sure that's a accountable way.
I think like biggest thing would figure out what is the best of the service or club.
I just wanted to put that on.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much.
Just because Michael's already spoken first, I'll let Tyler ask him first.
Cool. I just kind of had a question for everybody. I guess I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but even if they cut the budget by like 50%, and we say they're meeting bi-weekly, and this budget gets cut to like $10,000, are you guys still in favor of this? This is still a lot more than the 700 we like thought we were going to be putting up last time we met. So I was just wondering what everyone's opinions were on it. If we were getting 10,000, which is still way less than they asked for.
So is Tyler motioning for us to discuss?
Yeah, I think we should save that question till after, just, that we can have a discussion about it. If there's any other questions about the specific program, we'll answer those now, to the best ability that we can.
Just one more question. In the timeline, they talk about the leadership training. There'll be
Sorry to put you, but you're not on the speaker.
Oh, sure.
You can't
Okay.
sit with us. Sorry.
Oh, I have my name on the speaker list, please.
Yes,
Maybe we should just take this is the last round of being requests for speakers list.
yes,
And then we'll just.
Speak now or hold your peace.
Michael?
Okay, so I have two questions. First one's more relevant to what's going on at the moment. If from what I'm gathering, the first years are the ones who are getting the most value out of this, right?
First, second, and third, yeah. Do you want me to elaborate on that? I can.
First, yeah, please, yeah.
Okay, so, I'll get Alex to use this as an example.
Okay, so for example, for myself as a second year student going to third, from my experience in the past program when I did with Dane Peterson, he was my group, I guess, leader in terms of my little pod. I had a great experience out of this student program. I had a lot of value in terms of learning a lot about the next 2 years I'm here at Sauder. So a lot comes out of, for each year, we talked about it when we had my experimental meeting, about what each year will get out of it. For example, first year, you're still coming in, you're kind of experimenting solder, you want to see what's for you. Second year, you're more narrowing it down in terms of what you want to do in later years. And third year, you're trying to finalize finding a job, you're trying to see what your career is going to be heading to. And that a lot comes down to experience from past students too. So for example, for me, I'm still very undecided on what I want to do in my next 2 years here. After this meeting though, with Dane Peterson, I had a strong foundation of what I wanted to see myself in the next 2 years. I was considering going to Bucks, maybe switching to Bucks or doing BT and computer science. And Dane Peterson was very similar to me. He switched into Bucks in his second year. And he was telling me all the things he had to do, what he went through, all the courses that I have to take. And it really gave me that experience of understanding what I want to do. So from there, I narrowed it down that now I'm going to major in BTM with a major in computer science. So because of that meeting, I don't think I would have not, like if I didn't have that meeting, I would have still been a little bit lost in terms of what I want to do specifically. So it does come down to what your leader has experienced in the past too. And that's why we're trying to, when we're putting the team together, we really want to focus on trying to specifically narrow it down to what students want to do in the future and what they can take out of it based on the leaders.
Yeah. Okay, well that sort of answers both of them. But is there any worth in getting third years to become leaders to some extent as well?
To become leaders?
They are leaders.
Yeah, they are. But I
leaders.
thought the fourth years were
Fourth
the
years are
leaders.
ideally legal years, yeah.
And then you have third years, second years, and first years in that group, right?
Yeah.
So if number wise the fourth years don't tend to, there's not enough numbers, is it worth then going to third year to look for leaders?
Again, what we're talking with Elton Reza is they also don't want to have too many groups within the first year of doing this, because they felt like if they jumped from the 56 people they have right now to let's say like 200 people, it'd be incredibly hard to scalability-wise to make that huge push. And they're still figuring things out. In the first year, they just want to know exactly how everything works together within a whole year worth of experiences, and transfer that on to the next person the next year.
For the first year, as it is a brand new service, you really want to focus on quality rather than quantity. So you want to make sure that's an excellent service that people are going to want to join for sustainability for the future years, rather than having everyone join it at once and have it as an okay program and not so many students want it.
They want to build like a strong brand presence in the first year.
And point of information, the program is supposed to be like two-way mentorship. Like fourth year is supposed to learn from the third, second, and first year as well. But they're just leader, as in they Elton and Raza and believe that they will set the tone, the fourth years.
That's exactly what it is, yeah.
And like as I discussed in my personal group, everyone can learn something from someone else. Like as a fourth year, you don't have to be just teaching or like mentoring people. You also learn a lot from first years coming into it as well. So it's not just a one-way stream yet.
So is the budget that they gave you based on the 56 leaders that they have now?
I think the budget that they gave us is contingent on 200 members and 50 alumni.
200 members being just everyone in general?
200 members, from what I'm assuming, I'm not 100% correct on this. I will have to specify with Resident Elton later on. But from what I gathered, it will be 200 members in the program as a whole, plus 50 alumni. So 250 people total, which is the budget is based on.
Okay, so Tyler is next on the speaker list.
That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah, Ryan?
Yeah. I'm just going through the timeline again, and they mentioned the leadership training commences a week before the school starts, and training will be formal retreat before the weekend. I'm just actually trying to check the dates because I believe also the Imagine Day training is going on.
The same week. And again, Shannon is heading Spark training, so and she's in your training for this. So she again, just put it like within the last month of August or September. The date isn't really finalized yet, so it's subject to change.
Are they planning to do it together or a separate thing?
It would be a separate thing.
Okay, and also they mentioned that the kickoff event will be in the first week, so it's like during the week or the weekend, because the first weekend is obviously the Spark. So
I think it would be during the first actual week of school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they would still need to accept applications for first year, go through them, and see which one's the best. And also need time to get first years to adjust to school and actually write the application. So I'm assuming that'll be in the middle of September.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around there. Totally, yeah.
I believe last month's was spent.
I just wanted to ask a quick question about like how it's gonna basically work. Like, I mean, do you think that we'll definitely be able to have the HR support? Like, we'll be able to have all the proper, leaders, executives for this program. It may require like CUS people. Like, do you think we can reasonably guarantee that we're gonna have the people available, even if there's things over the summer? Just generally, like, do you guys get the sense that yes, like we can handle it?
Coming from my personal opinion, I do think that we can handle it. It'll be a push, but I definitely think that it'll add a lot of value to our students, and definitely we'll be able to handle it if we push that much forward.
So seeing that all the questions have been asked, we're going to thank you. Our next item, which is the official name change. ISIS to CISA. I think we're going to
Wait, point of information, do we have to make a decision on anything about this presentation, or was this just a presentation for the sake of
It was just a presentation.
Okay,
You guys.
thank you.
For my next presentation,
Oh,
I am formally putting in a motion to change the name of ISAS, known as International Students Association of Solder, to CISA, Solder's International Student Association, for reasons due to global conflicts and name similarity, and many people mispronounce it. Motion. Can I motion?
This isn't a presentation.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
Actually,
can I make one observation? Would those presenter be able to just speak about like if it is going to be presenting, like, was there any particular reason, or was it just more like?
It was more due to when I had my interviews for the chair, people coming and saying I'm interviewing for ISIS, and I just don't want that confusion in terms of name similarity, and it is International Students Association, so I don't want it to be a name that may offend international students. So I think CISA is the best name for this program, and I think the name will add value to the students. So.
On that note, I would motion to approve the vice president's engagements request.
We didn't vote on that.
Yeah.
You can pass with unanimous.
Okay.
We need unanimous approval.
So,
All those in favor?
No.
privilege table?
Yes, you can.
Oh, and actually, on that note, I was just going to make a point of information. Are we going to move to recess at any point in the meeting, or just get water
After the next thing, which is us again.
So I'll wait for Vanessa to come back. But basically, is it okay to share if I
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Okay.
So for my third presentation, I would like to formally introduce the new position of Associate Vice President of Student Engagement, also known as Adrian. Yeah, to the actual Vice President of Student Engagement portfolio. So add a lot of value to the students. Yeah.
Wait, what? So you're not
Yeah,
actually part?
No,
You're just following them around.
Not formally.
Unofficially, I am.
Oh wait, never mind. Under the table. CUS under the table.
I could say.
Can I ask a question?
Well, we just went through the normal hiring process because I thought that was like an established position.
We actually wrote contingent on the board approval.
Can I just raise a question?
We wrote it, contingent on board approval.
I just wanted to confirm that I couldn't remember, like I didn't realize that this position hadn't been approved by the board. I think it may have come up. Have we gone through a proper equitable procedure for hiring?
Yes, everything has been absolutely.
So at this point, it's just sort of a formality of approval.
It was actually supposed to be approved during the last board meeting, but it was put aside.
Perfect.
Just due to discussion reasons, and yeah, at that as well. And it was brought up several times before, but this is the formal introduction to it. Yeah. Any other questions about my position? Yeah, so
Just to add, next time can we have the approval before hiring process? That'd be more.
Unfortunately, we cannot because the board of directors we had turnover. It's just the timing didn't work out in terms of actual hiring and board of directors meeting. So usually that would be the circumstance.
Yeah.
But for the specific circumstance, it just didn't permit the board of directors to have a meeting beforehand.
So now that Vanessa is here, are we going to?
Can I motion to approve
The appointment of the AVP student engagement
And the creation of the role.
and the creation of the role.
And actually, point of information, can we also have it to just say approving the role after having gone through an equitable hiring process?
Yes, yes.
Sort of post, whatever you call it.
So do we?
Yes.
Second by Vanessa. Okay, and moving on to, thank you for all your.
Thank you.
So, the next item that we're going to discuss is the election of all committee chairs. We will be appointing a vice chair for both academic committee and building users committee.
Point of whatever, there is, like, there's been a misunderstanding. There is no chair or vice chair for building users committee.
Yeah.
It's not a
That's
CUS
not what you're
committee. It's a committee called by Darren Bell, Associate Dean for we're representatives of the CUS on that committee.
I see.
It's not an internal CUS committee.
Okay.
So we've elected members to sit on that committee, but there is no formal chair or vice chair.
Thank you for the clarification. Okay.
So we can scrap that.
Okay, we'll scrap that and we'll move on to the vice chair of the academic committee and appointing that. So, going back to the board meeting recap for April 6th, people that are on the academic committee, is Fatim, Vanessa, Michael, Justin, myself, Yushi, and Tyler. So we must, first year that is not announced yet. So right now we need to appoint a vice chair.
I nominate Tyler Tanaka
I have
as
a question about
vice
that.
chair of academic committee.
I thought that I wasn't automatically on academic because I thought that was the chair of the board.
You're not ex officio, but
Yes.
you elected to
No, I was elected for clubs review and for building users.
So there was an error in the.
No, but then I think the thing is you can be a maximum of 2 standing committees, which standing committees are just
Building
like.
users committee is not a standing committee.
No, but I mean, I just never got elected for that.
Okay, that's fine.
So
So you're not part of it.
unless it's ex officio.
You're not ex officio.
Yeah.
So, wait, are you? Is the senator special?
No.
No.
Is the senator special?
No.
What an inquiry, is the senator special?
Very special. Okay, that's fine. So I guess Tyler isn't on the academic committee after all.
I nominate Daphne to be vice chair of the academic committee.
Can I even though
And ex officio members.
Oh, can you?
don't think that
Then who's eligible?
I think Michael? Michael, Justin, or you. Michael.
UC's not here. She has to be there.
Madam Chair.
So Debbie nominates Michael Worthington. Michael, do you accept this nomination?
You mean I respectfully accept?
Okay, so.
That was the most painful acceptance I've ever heard.
Oh, no. You are.
Tyler is?
Tyler is. The above representatives must include the vice president academic, the Congress student senator, and the president. Because the senator is like academic, like that's the point.
Yeah.
Senator position. So you're on the academic. Yeah. You're allowed to sit on 2 additional committees in addition to the one that you're mandated to sit on. You're mandated to sit on this one, but you've got 2 others, so this is fine. You are allowed to be vice chair. Yeah, be board rules.
So Michael.
Wait, I thought we don't,
Yeah, we already nominated.
No,
Michael, you
but-
already accepted that nomination.
I can.
Just vote on it.
Okay, point of information, it says, so the vice chairperson of the academic committee shall be the former student senator.
So it will be Tyler. So, now that this has been discussed, I think that the president wants to make a presentation. Yeah, can we motion to go into a recess?
Yes, can I move for recess, please?
Yeah. Seconded.
Point of personal privilege, I'm bailing after this. I'm gonna get that all over again in A101 because I got the exam in like 40 minutes.
Point of personal privilege. Red's example was so crazy.
Okay, so recess for 5 minutes. Okay, 5-minute recess.
That was cool, thank you.
Good job.
There will just be no position.
The live stream is still on. No, I'm not sure if that ends the live stream.
Yeah, no, I don't think we can pause it.
Executive session today.
You're welcome.
No, exec have to stay for this. Yeah. Did Taylor just piece it?
No, it's not still there.
Okay. No. I can tell.
Never mind.
It is.
We knew what we were saying.
You guys did a good job. Yeah, it's live stream. Can I pause it? Can I just like leave a note, be like recess? Oh my God, there's no pizza. There. Lucy, can you man the live stream? Can we transfer computers? If it's on that computer, does it have to stay on that computer?
How's your test, Lucy?
So it was alright. I just have like a
We're on recess right now.
Whoa.
It's playing.
Oh, it's playing. You should pause.
Can I pause?
Yeah, I think so.
Can I stop it? But will it stop the whole thing? Oh, probably, yeah. How do I go like this? Can I just like keep it here? And like, I think they'll know recess. Yeah. It's recess! Can I like? There we go. Yeah. There you go.
What time did you set that?
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. For the record, I didn't say that. Yeah,
Oh, good. That's awesome. Sorry? I'll find some. Which mouth?
No. Daphne, Daphne, are you keeping track of the time? Sorry, what? Are you keeping track of the time?
How long are you?
5 minutes. My laptop is 5 minutes?
No, like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes. Are you?
Go to the 6, 7, 8.
Wait, is Ruben the number on it? Maddie. Did you tell Ruth that we're on recess? Did you tell Ruth that we're on recess, or are you gonna kind of close?
Oh, snap! Oops, he kept coming anyway.
Wait, so you might want to shoot me, so I'm just gonna like, can I see that? Like, if
No,
this
I'm
is like,
just
dude, I
wondering
got
if you
so
said
many
laptop.
these are just the ones in my head. It's really fun. So you've got the actual receipts.
Are we done?
Which is this, and then we're.
This is amazing.
Like, we're gonna.
It's not a receipt.
So after.
That's not a receipt. It's all there, it's all the question. That's really cool. Yes, you can submit that. Nice. Is that okay though?
Just like close my laptop.
Video architecture. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Rachel.
So the other thing, Taylor, is, okay.
Not sure.
Well, maybe we can put out, there's some things I did personally, like I had to buy a membership for EBC and There's a few different ones. So, also, is there a way to actually and I'll be here in just a minute. Meet them. I'm gonna give you my name, meet them.
Your only job.
Hey man, this question went on for a long time.
Actually, bullshit for so long. We're not supposed to be bullshit. You're supposed to tell us to deal with it.
I wasn't given a circumstance like so
Hey, guys, let's take our seat. That's what that was close. That would have been a bad time.
Why can't you do this with your system?
Okay. Hopefully 24% will last for a good
Oh yeah,
chunk.
thank you for not putting it at the back of my head.
Oh, sorry. Oh no, I was like, oh, everyone can see what you're on.
I know.
What you're
That's
watching.
why I do with that because I'm focused always.
That, I guess.
Spinning around in there, like, that exactly is the highest eye contact. This is probably right, I got a crouch.
Reset.
I know it's gonna
Oh, is everyone back?
You know, I'll just, yeah, I like, I want to talk
Okay, so now that everybody's back, this is amended. I'm going to call to relax Robert's rules for this portion of the meeting. Should I get I'm the mover, so should I get secondary? Yeah. Seconded by Justin.
What is that?
Relaxing Robert's. So basically, the agenda that I've set forth for this is just a bit of an outlier because it's about strategy for our organization. And I thought that Robert's rules would just kind of be a hindrance to the quality of the conversations that I kind of want to get from you guys. So that's why I think suspending Robert's rules it would be a good idea, and I present that to the chairperson.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I start my presentation? Yes, you can. Okay, I'm like totally speaking from the heart about this because I didn't really prepare. I spent all night doing the slides for this yesterday. But essentially, I want to talk about our CUS vision. And there's the reasons why I want to talk about this today is really twofold. So the first is, and if I could get anyone to just like put their laptop down, it's kind of important to me. It's pretty twofold. The first is because, sorry?
Unless you're Skyping someone.
Yeah, unless you're Skyping someone. It's pretty twofold because this is probably going to be the only meeting where everyone's kind of here and people are in town. I know Alice is leaving, Matt is leaving. I'm leaving in a couple of weeks. So I think this is really important that we have this conversation. And the second one is because after the meet and greet, I kind of realized, wow, like we all have our individual goals. But as important as individual goals are, if there's no purpose behind these goals, what's the point of executing your individual goals? I realized that there's no glue that really holds us together. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about purpose today. What our purpose in the CUS is. But first, I'm going to start off with picture. I'm going to start off with footprint. And I think a lot of you guys probably kind of get why this picture is there, but I'm going to say it anyway. So every year, the CUS turns over. And, sorry? Oh, okay. You're not as poetic as I am. But every year, the CUS turns over. And every year, a footprint is left behind. So whether this is a good footprint, like Birmingham being 24/7, or having points being CPA Hall, or it could be a negative footprint, like Frosh, for instance, or leaving a bad impression with faculty and staff or students. A footprint, regardless, is always going to be left behind. So what I really want you guys to think about is, what type of footprint do we want to leave this year? What's the legacy we want to leave behind? What do we want students to say about the 2015-2016 year? And what do we want students in 2017, 2016, 2018, or whatnot to say about this team? So that's kind of what I want you guys to think about. And I have two quotes for you. The first is about vision. The vision for the business is, at its essence, a set of objectives. It's a direction in which you and your team head, a direction in which you take the business. And the second one is about destination. So whatever the organization's destination, they must be seen and understood at all levels, included in every agenda and woven into every business discussion and decision. And the reason why I choose these two quotes is because I want us to start thinking about the CUS as a business. I don't want us to start thinking about it as, oh, we're just volunteers and this is a student society. I've thought long and hard about what it means to be in this organization. I spent the whole week thinking about this. And I realized that our organization is so closely similar to any Fortune 500 company that you can find. We have a board of directors who's elected by our shareholders usually. We have executives, the CFO, the CMO, COO, and we have our shareholders, which is typically our students. So why can't we start thinking about the CUS as an organization, as a real business? Because think of yourselves right now as the top executives and the top decision makers of an organization. That's kind of what I want you guys to think about right now, and why a vision is important. Because each organization, Fortune 500 or a startup, all have this one purpose, this one vision that kind of binds them together. It's called strategy. And you guys are all business students, so I'm sure that you guys get this idea. So kind of switching the tone of the conversation, I want to start talking about these 3 words that, has been seen throughout January. And these were my words. These were the words that I chose. But what I realized is that these words have different interpretations to all of you. So as much as transparency, unity, and involvement might mean certain things to me, what does it mean to you guys? These are the words that I was elected to at all our students. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, I've heard in some of your interviews that these were the words that resonated with you, and that's why you applied to be an executive. Or if you're a board member, these were the words that resonated with you, and that's why you haven't quit yet. Or I hope that's why you haven't quit yet. So think about these words and what these words mean to you. And I'm going to start talking about what these words mean to me. And I want us to stop thinking of these things as separate entities. I want us to start thinking about it like this. So instead of calling them platforms or platform pillars, I want us to start thinking about it as a building block. And yes, we're all about pyramids today. This is our sign, Illuminati. But going back to what I'm trying to say, and I feel like I'm in a TED Talk here. I'm totally in like business communication mode right now. But I want us to start thinking about it in a building block type of way. And the reason why I put it into a triangle like this is because transparency is what I believe is the first thing that we need to hit as an organization. And the reason why I put it at the top and it has a bigger base is because this is going to be the hardest hurdle that we have to face as an organization. Transparency is not just how we, you can interpret transparency in many ways. And it's not just how we act externally, but it's also how we act as a team. And how this transparency is to you, I don't know. But I can tell you right now that without transparency, you won't be able to hit any of those buckets. And the moment we have this transparency, that's when we can find unity. Because what unity means to me is community. It can be unity within our team, it can be unity within your own teams, and it can be unity with the school. So whatever your definition of unity is, we won't get that without transparency. And finally, the moment that we have transparency and that we have unity is then when we have involvement. And involvement can mean many different things. It can mean students participating in our events, the number of people that apply to our positions, the number of how high our percentage rate is for elections. But to me, what involvement means is a bigger thing. It means contribution to society. So the moment that we can hit transparency, unity, and involvement, that's when we can actually get students to want to contribute to society, to want to apply to those events, or to want to apply to those positions. Not because it's nice on their resume, but because they actually want to make a contribution to make the CUS better. And not just the CUS, but their undergraduate experience better because of the CUS. So I want you guys to think about transparency, unity, involvement in this type of framework. But when it all boils down to, when I think about these 3 words, I really thought long and hard about what are the common factors that make that, what are the commonalities of these words, and what it is trust. So if I look back, transparency is about trust. It's about making your information available, communicating with your team. It's about trusting. And the moment that we can have that trust is when we can have unity, when we can work with our partners and work together as a team as well. Because human behavior, we're not going to work with people that we don't trust. And finally, with involvement, that's trust too. If we don't trust this organization, our students don't trust us, how do they feel like, how are we going to make them feel like they feel comfortable enough to want to step out of their shell and to want to contribute to society? So think about trust. Now, I'm going to talk about our organization. So our organization, typically on paper, it looks like this. There's the students, there's the board of directors who are elected by the students, there's the executive council who's hired by the board, and we've got our service council and commissions who are essentially hired by the executive council. What I want us to expand our framework of how we see our organization. Because how we should actually see it is that there's more people, there's more key players in our organization. There's the dean and dean's offices, UGO, the BCC, Sauder alumni, other faculty like building ops, marketing, etc. And there's the alma mater society. So we want to start thinking about it in this way. But not only this, we want to start thinking about it as an ecosystem. So instead of thinking of it as all separate entities in a hierarchical triangle structure, we want to start thinking about it as a circle, an ecosystem. And the one thing that binds all of these parties together is students. Without students, none of these organizations or parties would exist. And we're there to help the student experience. And whether that's students coming out of their own shell or academically or professionally, it all comes down to a mission statement. To enhance the value of the Sauder School of Business, whether it's personal, professional, or academic. And without these key players, none of those would be achieved. So that's why we need to think of our organization as an ecosystem. And now going back to the topic of trust, and the reason why I chose this word is because trust is not just something that we can build with our students right away. It's not something that we can build with faculty members right away. How we build this trust is within our team. And when I say team, going forward, I want us to start thinking of us as a team with the board and executives, not just as the executives and not just the board. When I say team, I mean both parties. So this is my little framework of trust. So first, in order to build that trust within our organization or outside of our organization, you need to trust yourselves. So to the board members here or the executives here who are too shy to speak up in meetings or who don't think that they know enough, trust yourself that you're here for a reason. And trust yourself that you will do a good job this year. Because if you don't trust yourself, then this whole thing will crumble. And we won't find that trust within our team. And next, the moment that you trust yourself and that you feel comfortable talking in a meeting or contributing or having your own projects on the side, that's when we can find internal trust. And that's how the team can trust you. And there's little things that you can do every day to gain that trust from your teammates. It could be attending a meeting. It could be filling out a doodle. It's really easy. It could even be just respecting the fact that people have opinions. It's really easy to gain that trust. So the moment that we have a team, and it's not just you trusting the team, but it's the team trusting you, it's reciprocal, that's when we can finally get that external trust. So right now what I feel like is that our organization is so focused on the external trust of, how are students going to think of us? How are we going to execute on these 3 words? We need to have that internal and self-trust. And that's when we can hit the transparency, unity, involvement bucket. Okay? And the moment that we have that trust externally, that's when the students will finally trust us. And that's when we can finally execute our strategy on the outside. So we're going to have a group discussion today, but just hold off. I really want you guys to think about these words. What is your interpretation of our vision? So I've left my PowerPoint presentation pretty open-ended, and I focused more on trust than those 3 words. I'm really interested to see what your interpretation of our vision is to you, because that conversation is important. But not only that, but what is our end goal as a team? So what is our end point? As much as we have our own separate goals, as much as, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, but why? Why do we want to do this? What is the purpose? How can we actually see that we've made a change or a difference, or we've achieved this? What is our end goal? And finally, how will you contribute to this goal? So what transparency or what unity or what involvement means to Taylor or VP Finance is going to mean completely different to Alex or VP Engagement. It can mean completely different for Daphne or chairperson or our 2nd-year rep. I got it right this time. So really think about how you specifically will contribute to the goal that you think we should achieve as a team. What is your contribution to society? And finally, how do we measure our success? How many of you have written or tried to write your resume and you're like, crap, I don't have a good CAR statement. I worked my butt off all year and I have no tangibles. 202 has taught me to use context, action, result, but I don't have a result. I don't have numbers. So how are we going to measure that success? And whether you're a person that's sitting in this room that's intrinsically motivated because you want to do a good job this year and you want to make a change, or whether you're extrinsically motivated because you want to have a shiny badge on your resume, no matter which type of person you are, and I don't care which type of person you are right now, if you don't succeed as a team, you're not going to be able to meet your own agenda or your own objectives. So how are you going to measure our success? So before we have that discussion, and we're going to really think about these 4 questions that I'm going to ask, because we're going to have to go around and talk about this. I'm just going to dive into the accountability report. So I kind of touched on this on my report today. So these are the accountability reports. So I want you guys to really think about this before I leave, and I'm going to write one myself, and then they're all going to be accessible on a Google Drive so that we all know what each person's goals are. So the first is 3 promises to the team. And when you think back on that triangle that I had, or the upside down pizza thing that I had, it starts with internal. So what are 3 promises that you will give to us as a team? It doesn't have to be about students, it doesn't have to be about anything. It could be, I promise that I will make at least all the board meetings except one. Or it could mean, oh, I promise to not be so hot-headed. Or I promise to my team that I will host a social during the summer. It could be anything. And secondly, when we think about the external things, I want you guys to have measurables. I want you guys to think about your SMART goals. And I know it's like, oh my gosh, SMART goals, are we in elementary school? I know. But there's no other way that I can think of it. If anyone has suggestions, let me know. But I think it's important to have these SMART goals so that people can keep you accountable. Students can keep you accountable. I can keep you accountable. And so that when you look back at the end of the year, did you achieve your SMART goals? Did you meet your measurables? Did you deliver? And finally, I want you guys to also think about a passion project. So what is one thing in this society, if anything, that you want to change, the footprint that you personally want to leave in this organization, what is your passion project? And each person should have one, because why are you here? And lastly, just because I'm curious, and I'm sure everyone else is curious, just a laundry list of your other goals and your other projects. And it doesn't have to be SMART format, it's just literally a list of things that you want to accomplish. And you don't have to hold yourself accountable to these things, but it's nice so that other teammates can know what you're up to, what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, so that maybe these goals can actually come to fruition and that we can help each other. So some more admin stuff. Board members submit a progress report, so once per term to the public. So you're gonna have this accountability report, and you're gonna have it done by May 6th. And at the end of the year, for the board members, not the executives, each term, I want you guys to report back to students and to myself. Did you deliver? And if you didn't, it's okay. Just be honest. And what was the roadblocks that kind of prevented you from doing that? How are you going to change these goals? So at the end of each term, you're going to submit that to the public. For the executives, you're going to have quarterly reviews, and they're going to be once every 2 months. And I'm hoping that I can work with raffles or GBAN to really come up with a rubric on what to expect. But basically, these reports are to keep you in check and to keep you accountable, but it's not just for me, it's for you. And as an executive, I really wish that I had a quarterly review, because I'm struggling to put car statements on my resume. Did I do a good job? I don't know. Did I meet my deliverables? I don't know. I didn't even write them down. I know I did a good job, but by how much? So it's not just for me, it's for you. And finally, you're not tied down to this report, because I understand that as time goes by, ideas come up and you change your mind. So you can update these per term. Just let someone know that you're updating them so that we know, where you're going. Does anyone have questions about the accountability report? Yeah, Rachel?
How, for the second one, the SMART goals, external, how do we plan to present them?
Yeah, so they're going to be kind of a document. And last year and previous years, executives would have to write long reports of what they did. I don't want that at all. As long as we have good meetings and you guys have good updates, I trust you guys. I trust. So it's just going to be this one document that you guys need to do. So here's some examples for those who don't know what I'm talking about. And these are merely examples. These aren't mine yet. But I promise to the team. So mine could be, as president, it could be, I promise to always be accessible to my team by sharing my personal calendar and always reply within 24 hours. So that could be a promise that I make to the team. Another one could be, I promise to not let my stress or temper get the best of me, and always think before I speak or act. And it's good that the team knows that you've committed to this, because the moment that you step out of line, a teammate can just really come up to you and be like, hey, I noticed that you're working towards your anger and your frustration and how you manage your stress. How are you doing with that? I think that's really crucial. And for the board members or executives, this might not apply to you, but something as simple as, I promise to not be late to meetings.
I was just wondering, like, this might seem obvious, but like, these are just internal reports, like, these wouldn't be shared with students, like,
The promise to the team, no, just the SMART goals for the board and passion project.
okay,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
SMART goals are internal, all internal.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay? And then SMART goals. An example of SMART goal that I could potentially do is I will ensure all CUS executives receive at least 80% for all their quarterly reviews by conducting small check-ins every 2 weeks to give feedback and ensure executives are on track with their objectives. So that could be my SMART goal. And what your SMART goals are, I don't know, but you guys will have them. A passion project could be the CUS internal Google Drive that I've been working on. And I'm pretty passionate about that. And when you write about your passion project, I want you guys to really write and think hard about it. Explain what it is, why it's important, how you plan to do it, and what support you need. And the last piece is really important because I want to be sure that the majority of your passion projects come to fruition. And you guys can't do it alone. So there's some people that might have the same passion project. Who knows? You guys can work in teams. And finally, other goals and projects. You would literally just put a laundry list, so redesigning websites, commerce suite, condensed policies, live stream, town halls. And it's nice to, at the end of the year, to be able to cross all that out. So does anyone have any more questions about the accountability reports? Okay, great. I will send out a template later today or sometime this week. Yeah.
When you say end of the term, would be summer term?
So summer, basically, I want, oh, sorry, great question. I forgot to mention this. For the board members, the ones that you submit to me are kind of like drafts, but still put a lot of effort in it. And during the summer, I want you guys to think long and hard about the passion project.
And that would be to.
The public ones will be done at the beginning of the term in September. So they're going to be made public for the board members in September. Does that make sense? But you have a whole summer to really.
I'm confused. Can you say that again?
So basically, by May 4th, I want you guys, everyone to submit a report to me, and I'm going to submit one for my own for everyone else. And then, like I said, you can modify it, right? So I want the board members during the summer to really think long and hard about how they're going to build their passion project. And in September, that's when we kind of make those public and they're kind of set in stone, and that you're accountable from then on, if that makes sense. And for the executives, you have your quarterly reviews. You guys can change it based on, the reviews that we have. Does anyone have any more questions? You guys can feel free to shoot me a message and ask more. Brian?
You said end of term report, or now is it we release it at the beginning?
So you release this report at the beginning of the year, and then at the beginning of the term, and at the end of the term, you send another report about the progress, about what you actually accomplished, and why you might not have accomplished some things over the other.
For the passion project, what does it have to be? Can you just?
Yeah, I can give more examples. So for instance, Debbie. I know Debbie's super passionate about sustainability. So her passion project would be making the school more sustainable. And it's up to Debbie how she wants to envision that. Maybe that's working closely with a conference, or that could be working with building ops to implement those water dispenser things in all the levels. Something like that. Or if you're passionate about, I don't know, makeup or something, and you want to host makeup tutorials with the school, that could be your passion project. As long as you're passionate about it, I don't really care what you guys put here, as long as you guys really plan hard to work accomplishing that. So now, I forgot this slide. Basically, I want to just kind of drill down to you guys. Don't underestimate your positions, because if you really think about it, our organization is the largest student business association or student business society in Canada. And I know right now for you guys, like, oh yeah, like I see that on the website, it's said all the time. But now that I personally have met presidents from other undergraduate societies, I realize that they don't have a fraction of the budget that we have. We manage $1 million as students. How many students can say that they've done that? How many students can say that they're accountable to 3,500 students at our school? I don't know about you, but if I was an employer and you told me in an interview that you helped manage a $1 million budget and you're accountable to over 3,500 people, not including faculty or staff or the dean, I'd be pretty impressed. So don't underestimate your position. You have the potential here to actually have this be a milestone achievement for you guys after you graduate. And I don't think a lot of the students are lucky enough or fortunate enough to be able to do that and have this opportunity. So don't let it go to waste. I've talked to so many board members who are like, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Yeah, I have board member on my resume, but I don't have anything to write below it. And it's not just about resume, it's just about life. You know, what's the footprint that you want to leave behind for school? So now going back to our discussion, and I don't know if you guys have thought about it yet, but let's go around and kind of talk about what, so when we go around, I want each person to just kind of hit these 4 buckets. What is your interpretation of our vision? What is our end goal as a team? How will you contribute to this goal specifically? And how should we measure our success? And it's okay, I realize that, you only have a couple of seconds to think about this, that's why you have the accountability reports, but I kind of want to get the conversation going. So, Daphne, do you want to go first? Oh, Daphne's always first, so Angela, why don't you go first?
Okay, the first one.
Just all 4.
Okay. My interpretation of our vision, I guess I'm just thinking of Vanessa said and really like a lot to take in. What do you expect us to do?
So just why, so basically, now that you're in the CUS, what do you want the CUS to accomplish? Pretty much it. Even as an outsider student, what do you think the CUS could improve on? What is our vision? And it's up to you, not me, up to you.
I guess for me, it's all about the students, and then all we do is for the students, because they elected us, and then everything we do should be benefit to them, and then to make their undergraduate life more powerful.
Mm-hmm. And what is our end goal as a team? If you could choose one thing that we could accomplish this year, what would it be?
Have more, get people more aware and more aware of the CUS and more involved in.
Okay. And as admin director, how do you think that you can help us achieve that goal of getting people more aware?
I feel like I can contribute a lot to the transparency because I can manage all the minutes and make people look colorful, and then just invite people to know what we're doing. So yeah.
Okay. And how do you think we can measure whether or not students actually feel like they know a lot more about our society?
I guess for transparency, it's more about the awareness. So talking to students and just a general the environment of how people are aware of us and how they enjoy working with us or something.
Great, Justin. And also, this is a conversation, so feel free to kind of contribute to people's points if you'd like.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty similar platform as you. So we kind of share.
Justin for Prez?
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, our end goal of the team, I think, is getting different stakeholders to like us, right? And how that contributes to this goal. I think basically making responsible decisions and keep in mind that we want to maximize students' personal and professional learning experience.
Mm-hmm. And as third year rep, what exactly, what are the actions that you might want to take?
Fourth.
Oh, sorry, fourth year rep. Oh, I keep doing this.
But I think exactly we can do, other than making good decisions, is actually taking more steps to understand. For example, I applied to other positions in the CUS to get a sense of the financials of the CUS in depth.
Okay, that's good. And just so you know, Justin is our VP Finance for Exco. Congratulations!
Doing that and on orientation, tell students that how great we are, how great we are, that kind of thing. Those little things would help raising awareness, like you said. And at the end, we want everyone to like us.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Maddie, VP Marketing.
So
I think when you mentioned sort of people that came into the interview that resonated with your goals, I was one of them. That was something I mentioned in my interviews, and that really ties into how I interpret their vision. So when you talk about transparency and unity and involvement, like those are the three things that I want to kind of accomplish for that marketing as well. So I think the way I kind of look at it, it's not like a formal way of like picturing this, but just to kind of give you guys an idea, is like visibility. So if you're a first year that's coming in and you say CUS, you like immediately know if this is what these guys are, this is what they do. All of our clubs are part of the service. Being visible is something that I think is how I interpret transparency in your vision. Unity again is, I guess, just involvement. In my head, it's just people looking at all the services that are provided to you. This is what I want to be. A large part of that I felt when I joined, and I thought that was because of sort of the experiences I had with leaders in my life and things like that. So I think as the CUS and as a service board that we an executive that we kind of represent, it's being that leadership figure that drives involvement. That's another thing. And yeah, so I think that's sort of how I interpret your vision. End goal as a team. I've thought about end goal as VP marketing a lot, and so this question sort of throwing me off when it comes to this team picture, but sort of just accomplishing all of those things that we mentioned. Being the leaders that the student body can hold accountable, and being that kind of people that provide them the services that they can see and be like, yes, you guys have done the job. Like I feel like my student body or the kind of money that I put into this is there's value to it. How I contribute to this goal. So this falls into sort of like how I pictured my my goals for the year. So a large part of it is as VP marketing, it's sort of being that voice that kind of gets our message through. So I have channels that I use, and it's not just CUS Sunday. A large part of it, people think that
I know.
One of the only
so annoying
that comes out of like VP marketing. But there's a lot of channels that we work with. So working with my AVPM to really refine our social media. We've started that already. Another thing would be the newspaper is under my portfolio, so the Cavalier. Really making that a solid sort of like source of information, helping them develop an editorial calendar, being something that's more than just like a flimsy paper that people want to follow, being something that's like a book that they see and they're like, oh, it's coming out in September, like I want to go get it, something like that. Transforming that, improving our visual media team, and make sure that all of our services like a lot of services are just like, oh, I can actually get the photographers to come to my events. People don't think that visual media is more than just take headshots. So like really marrying all of the services that I hold to create like a coherent message that's put across. That's one of the biggest things. And my last goal is analysis, so that makes my answer to the last one really easy because this year personally and through my role, I want to develop on my marketing analysis tracking, and like really learning how to track my marketing efforts. So a large part of that comes with the footprint we leave digitally. So that comes with tracking our like reach or how many hits we get on our website and things like that. But I've kind of started implementing that, and I really want to develop it. So CUS Sundays, I track all of our clickers, like all of the clicks you get for each of the links that we have. I get a report, and so like little things like that, and like building, and hopefully being able to incorporate that into my executive report every 2 months, and being like, here's like a tangible of all the results that I've driven. And these are our numbers, these are stats, Google analytics, things like that. Is sort of where I come from with measurements. And like as these guys pointed out, just like the way people react to us, and the way people kind of like
plague or something. The way people react to us.
The way they like look at us is important. Just like understand that is how.
Great, thanks, Maddie.
Yeah.
You kind of just joined in, so gotta contribute.
All right, yeah. So I'm coming in as a support role as the HR director within the Service Council. I really see us, my role and just holistically CUS as really the servant leaders, where it's not necessarily our job as leaders to perform on the stage, but really be there to support, maintain, and build the stage for others to perform upon. And actually, that's my interpretation of the vision of of leveraging these services we can provide, so that our first years coming in do have the growth opportunities to get on the stage and perform themselves. Just moving to the end goal as a team. Our commission actually, during our training session, we actually sat down and did a bit of what we basically did was like a culture work of figuring out things we've been noticing in our community and some of the pain points we've been noticing. So we found that that a lot of students thought that this was a zero-sum game, that you only win or you only get a position at the expense of somebody else's loss, that loud leadership is the only way, and that it's frankly intimidating to be here. So one of my end goals, I kind of see as a team is sort of alleviating that pain point, where it's like your only metric of success can be beyond achieving that one position.
I agree with that.
Sorry?
I agree with that.
Oh, yeah. And so contributing to this goal, I kind of see this as one of my strategic contribution and tactical contribution. For strategic competitions, as I'm providing services and support for your executives, you really need to get the point across that I can't coach and deliver services in isolation. It's really a two-way street. You can't just throw the book of HR best practice at you guys and expect them to know what to do. Like, they have to be involved in the conversation so that we know what they're looking for, so we can provide better services. And also, just something tactical and practical we've been doing is just straight up providing, I have committed to providing feedback to every single student that has asked for it. And we've done it so far. I think I made one girl cry because her voice was breaking up at the end of the conversation, but we all have a performance, everyone that came to me for a performance improvement plan received one. So, yeah, it's
Raffles are sitting in on all the exec quarterly reviews.
yeah. So, should we measure our success? Again, building on that. Well, one thing I learned as a year working as an HR consultant is that even if I do my job perfectly, our project or our team could still fail because we're a support role. You guys are the tip of the spear. So, and measuring our success, what I mentioned before during my interview was something we call a bottom line upfront reporting, and I can actually have an example here. But basically, this is just I'm gonna put this up later, but this is just a really easy color-coded way to measure the health of all your projects and the timeline that it's going and some of the risks that might be going your way. Because it's your success is mine as well.
Oh, so emotional. Okay, thank you, Raffles. Ben, our veteran.
Alright, interpretation of the vision.
Ben's gone through 3 different visions.
I'm a visionary.
Maddie, is Roop still on Skype?
Yes, yes.
Does he want to?
Oh, yeah.
Roop steer.
I like your coat,
But Ben can just go and then we'll wait for Ruben. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I guess for me, it's just I would see it as being very ethical, and then just for me, it's for what we're gonna do this year, it's kind of related to RASET. I don't think the CUS is necessarily gonna offer something for every student, but I think we just need to have great services so that if people do want to take advantage of it, we obviously want to welcome them into whatever smaller community. So if someone wants to do EMP and they want to get benefit out of that, at the same time, I think it's important to recognize that there's students that have things outside of UBC. They may do volunteer things, they may have family issues, they may have a lot of different things. So however we can fit into that framework in whatever little way, or however big as if people want to do it, I think that's a really that's how I interpret it. But I interpret us as a team being always making ethical decisions. I mean, obviously that's what transparency is all about, right? It's being ethical, it's being upfront with people, being honest. And I think ultimately for me, a big part is just treating everyone as equal. We're not any better, we're not any worse than anyone else, and we just need to treat everyone like that, right? So I guess for me, the end goal as a team, in a big way, you guys are gonna laugh at this, and I'm always this guy, but I think it's just to have a lot of fun this year. I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna be in a year from now, I'll probably work full time for an accounting or finance firm. I have the rest of my life to do really administrative, operational stuff. I want to have fun this year. I want these meetings to be fun. I actually think Robert's Rules is hilarious. That's the only reason I follow them, is just because I think it's hilarious to just try and pretend to be formal. Like, I have a great time with you guys, like even starting at the retreat and the execs, like I think it's a lot of fun. And I think a lot of our services and things, I just have way too much fun going to some of our events, you know? So I think that's part of it is I think we're all students and we can't forget. Like, I think when we look back, we want to say, did everyone have a fun year? Like, for me, even the goal would be like, did everyone have like at least a couple pretty funny memories that they could sort of like take with them forward? How would I contribute to this goal? You know, I mean, yeah, since I've done CUS in the past, like I think one way to contribute is just kind of add my own learnings from the past. One thing I'm doing right now is like I'm working with a group with some services because you know I love working with like the conferences, the CR, EMP. So I guess adding that experience and then just really trying to like make the best decisions and really encourage everyone to help, you know, make those in a group, like come to the table with some good opinions. And I really don't want to come to the table just with my opinions. I really want to be shaped by like what the best decision is. Like I don't really care about, you know, having my, I guess, opinion, you know, be the one to go forward all the time. And how should we measure our success? I think as a group, if we can say at the end of the year, you know, we've created a really good community. I think for me, like this might sound kind of crazy, but I actually don't care so much about the CUS. I think that's only, like I said, it's only 3 letters. Like it's 3 letters of the alphabet, doesn't really matter. I think what really matters is like when we look back in a few years from now, we're all just a group of people, and then there's a bigger community around us that we're just trying to sort of interact with and have a good time with while we're here at university. So like, am I, you know, do I bleed blue, you know, CUS blue? Not really, but I think like this solder community and like we have a huge part to play in that. So I think it's more just about looking at who are the people that we're in close contact with on an everyday basis, who we work with, who we study with, trying to make that the best community. And I would say, honestly, if we can make great memories for people, not like within our group, if we can all look back in a couple years from now and say, yeah, you know, we had some really awesome meetings, but then even more so than that, if you really think about it, how great is it that we can have other students have great memories in their lives? I know Mike, you like to say, have great memories in their lives and look back and just say, yeah, that was because of this group. Like maybe we were able to plan a couple things or get a couple initiatives going, and for other students just to impact sort of their lives and have, you know, and vice versa with them, create those kind of two-way relationships. I think that's a very maybe vague way to measure success, but that's certainly how I would measure it.
Adrian?
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You in the team now. I just watched like Fast and Furious with Fred and like Taylor, so I'm all about teams and family.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, like how Raffle says, you guys are a tip. I'm just a shaft here.
No, you're not.
So,
And oh my god, did you just make that reference?
I'm talking about the shaft and spear.
Okay.
What's so funny, guys?
I'm like literally talking about the shaft and spear here.
Shaft and spear.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm talking about shafts. Let's go.
Anyways, at the shaft, I think the interpretation of our vision, I think, like I mentioned this in my cover letter, but I honestly think the CUS is like, when you talk about like what being a solder student is, it's more than just like what we do putting on a suit or putting on a LinkedIn account. That's the reason why I love the engagement portfolio. It's like how much fun we love, like how much fun we have here in our 4 years or 5 years we're here. And it's like, I really just want everyone to have fun outside like their business aspect too. What's my end goal as a team? I definitely, like I don't know about all the other portfolios, but preferably the engagement portfolio, I don't want an event to happen and someone say that sucked. That's the last thing I want to happen. I really want all the events in the portfolio to go off. There will be like hiccups and hitches, but at the end of the event, I want people to say, oh, I had fun. That's something I really want to happen. How will I contribute to this goal? So as the shaft of the spear, I think it's honestly just playing like a huge support role into this. Alex and I both want to have those like bi-weekly meetings portfolio and build a little family with our chairs and also pass the chair to everyone else. And something I personally really want to do this year is try my best to attend as many events in the portfolio as possible and just be out there and be recognized and not play a side role where I just tell them to go do it and not follow up and come out to the event and show my love for my team. measure our success? I honestly don't know how to measure our success. I guess our success as a game portfolio was really dependent on the scholar students themselves, how much fun they had. So like I said, just not having an event that ends and someone say that sucked. Another thing I really want to do is providing feedback to each of the chairs and their team after event has occurred and if I've gone to one, and just tell them like, hey, like I really enjoyed what happened at this event. Here's some things that you liked about it. Here's some things that maybe you can improve on for your next event or pass on to the chair for next year. And something I really want to do, something I did with Soko, because being on Soko this year, I had like a whole list of things I gave to Olivia for her to work on for next year. And something I really want to do for everyone else in the portfolio to help them next year.
Great. Alex? You guys are so cute. Like the whole time Adrian's talking, Alex is like, that's my man, Adrian.
So yeah, I just want to start off by saying how awesome I think that the board this year is really trying to get involved in everything in terms of having goals and trying to really get involved in the student environment.
And we've had a lot of the board members come to our executive,
Yeah,
which is like really rare.
Yeah, coming from
really
like
awesome.
a board member last year, I felt very disengaged with the whole kind of day-to-day objects and like actually getting involved and trying to like create like a lot of value for students. So I think it's really, really awesome how you guys have these goals that you guys want to set yourself to and really try to get involved. So just props to you guys, that's awesome. But do you mind putting that thing back up? Okay.
And you can like just kind of answer it touching on them. Like you don't have to like literally.
Yeah. Yeah, so like
Point of order.
So I always have to like interpret vision or revision as trying like, you know, the CUS motto is trying to create value for the BCom students, right? And I always think that our vision, again, is really, really enhancing that. I feel that a lot of students right now really don't understand what the CUS does, what their money goes towards. You know, like a lot, like for example, my cousins in first year had no idea what the BCC was, no idea what MEANG was, no idea what any of like, the CUS services was. And I was like, you're paying the student levy here, and you're not taking advantage of anything. Your money's just kind of going, right? It's not, you're not taking advantage of what you're paying for. And what I really think our vision is really making sure that the students who we're providing service to really understand and take value out of the service that we provide. We provide them awesome services every day, and the students need to know about what we do and stuff like that. So that's one thing I think our vision really is towards, making sure that students fully take advantage of everything that we offer. My end goal really for the term, I know last year was a little bit of, for the last 2 years, it's been a little bit of a rough patch for the CUS in terms of student likeliness, like people liking us, and like in terms of like our relationship with the school. So I think our end goal this term for me is really, really improving that relationship with the students and the faculty. That's what I really want to see this year. In the end, we are here for the students, and if we don't have a good relationship with faculty, then we're not having a good relationship with the students. So I really think that should be pure cohesion between the two. How we get contribute to this goal, just being, honestly, one of the things I felt as board member last year was that I couldn't really get involved with the stuff that the execs did. So I want to make sure that I'm always super open to all the board in case that you guys ever want to get involved in my portfolio. Anyway, Adrian and I can help you out with stuff, whatever you guys want to do, that we're always here, and then you guys can always come to whatever we need help with. For example, like points, I would love to see you guys help out with like, you know, the planning. Not the planning today. Not the planning, okay, like Adrian and I are running our portfolio this year super hands-off for each service. So we really want to see the service kind of grow their service the way they want to see. We don't want to micromanage it at all. So, but we'd love to see you guys like help us out, like with the back of bartending and stuff like that. If you guys ever have time.
Or if you ever want to be a bartender.
Yeah, so, right. Yeah, you gotta get your serving right. But like,
Yeah, we'll talk about here from us.
Yeah, but I'd love to see you guys, you know, really help out with that portfolio and stuff like that. So that's one of my goals, and making sure that students throughout the BCom just really understand what we do. And honestly, how we're gonna measure success, I just want to see people when they say like, oh, like, do you know the CUS? I want them to be like, yeah, I know the CUS, and like smile about it, instead of being like, oh yeah, like the CUS, like, you know, they kind of suck, right? So I really, that's, yeah, I guess a tangible way to do that, yeah, a tangible way to do that is through surveys like you guys did, which I think is awesome. But I really want to see like a smile on people's faces when they think about the CUS. So, yeah.
Yeah, I particularly love the point of getting board involved. Like honestly, the moment a board member shared a Facebook event, something as small as that event would blow up right after. So you guys are doing a great job, and I hope you guys keep it up. But Taylor.
So for me, my biggest interpretation of the vision is really having people know more about what the CUS is, what the CUS does, and what services we provide for students. So I know for me, it was like reading the big thing that really hammered this home for me was when I was reading the satisfaction surveys that we did at the beginning, or that were done at the beginning of the year, and there was stuff on it that was like, name a service that the CUS provides, and people were like, coffee. Or it's like they didn't really know anything beyond that. So I think really making sure that people are aware of what's out there, like what opportunities that are available for them, and how we work to provide them with these opportunities. So I think end goal as a team is just, again, like having people, if we do a survey at the end of next year, basically not saying that the service provided by the CUS is coffee, right? So have people just to have a better understanding of what we provide, know what's out there for them, and actually have them taking advantage of these services, because at the end of the day, they're the ones paying for it. So they should be using the services and getting the value that's there. How I contribute to this goal. So the
CFO.
The way I like to contribute to this goal is just actually by keeping track of what money is being spent better than has been done in the past, and what money is coming in better than it's done in the past, and find a way to basically communicate this to the students, so they'll have a better idea of like where the money is actually being spent. They'll understand that we're actually keeping track of how much is being spent, and just that we are being somewhat that we're being responsible with the money. And how should we measure our success? I think just having some sort of satisfaction survey again at the end of the year, and seeing if it's improved. Basically, if people know more about what we're doing, if people seem to generally have a better opinion of the things we do.
I think that'd be really cool if we had the same surveys with the same questions, and then kind of comparing, and then we can kind of graph it and see. Yeah, and we do a video of how much we've improved at the end of the year. I think that's a great idea, and then it'd be really cool to have these graphs that kind of show like the success rate of how we've done, and that's pretty cool. But thanks, Taylor. Lucy, as PR director.
Okay. To be honest, I've never been involved with the CUS before. This is my first year, so it's kind of weird for me because before I applied for this position, I think I live kind of on the fringe side. But before I applied, I had a very bad impression of the CUS before. That's why I didn't want to apply. But I think my lack of experience is also a strong point, because it will allow me to kind of bring in the element of not what a mainstream idea of what the CUS would be like. And when I was discussing some of the goals with Vanessa after I was hired, I think we said to have a report after every board meeting to try to increase transparency and to try to have students understand what we're doing tangibly. So I think that will increase the readership. I also am just on our Facebook page, and we only have like 3,198 likes. So something measurable we can achieve for my portfolio, at least at the end of the year, is to see maybe an increase in interaction in not only the Facebook group, but also as the website as well. I think we also talked about adding a new column for discussion between students, bringing in ideas. I think that's really important. Our end goal as a team, I don't really know. This position is kind of new and created last year, so I think there's a lot of flexibility in my role and my role in the organization. So if anyone needs help with anything, I would really be glad to help out. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Lucy. Tyler?
All right, so.
You know, it's really hard because everyone already said everything, and you have to like.
It's fine. It's like if it's the same thing, then it means that we're all like we all have the same goal.
Yeah.
Unity. Well, does everyone want to talk now?
He typed it out because his mic isn't working.
Oh, Rooster.
His mic isn't
working. Hey, trust him.
Oh, you got me! Oh, you got me good. Okay, sorry, Tyler.
Sorry, I just have way too much fun at these
Okay.
So I think when I hear the word unity, I think of spirit, especially just spirit within Sauder and being proud that you go to Sauder and having pride for your faculty and having pride for the CUS. I think that that's huge, and I think that that's something that we should all focus on as a team. Just building our brand image and building who we are as a group. And ways that I can contribute to this success are, as senator, I have a lot of exposure to the different faculties among the school, so I can definitely see like improve interactions with them and also just try to get ideas of how they're interacting with their students as well. And I think that just promoting ourselves as the CUS is something that we can improve on this year. Big Mike.
I don't know how you guys come up with things on the spot, though. You guys talk for ages. Not in a bad way. I guess my interpretation would be, I guess what we would want to do is create a positive perception of CUS, because I know that a lot of people have negative perceptions, obviously, and me being me in first year and now in second year, I didn't know too much about the CUS. I had no particular perception of it because I didn't know much about it. But after all the surveys and all sorts, I figured that a lot of people still don't really like it. Don't know why. So yeah, there's that. End goal as a team, I would say the overarching goal would more or less be to sort of spread the word, spread the positivity, and make sure people know more about what we've got to offer. Because, I mean, like Taylor said, people saying coffee in their survey is not exactly, it's nothing special. So, yeah, just letting people know what we've got to offer, especially people who come into the school new, as first years and everything, because like Alex even mentioned, people who don't know about meeting, which is the biggest conference that we have, arguably, it's pretty bad in my opinion, because it's got huge value and it adds huge value to the students. So for people to come into school and not know what that is, and then kind of just go through their first year doing nothing about it or anything, not being as engaged as they can be and not being able to utilize what we have to offer, is probably one of the most disadvantageous things that they can deal with in their first year, because they want to be able to jump on that bandwagon as soon as they possibly can so they can get as much out of their 4-year or 5-year experience here at Sauder. How I want to contribute to this is, I guess, being as involved in all the different portfolios as possible. Because granted, I wasn't entirely aware of how disengaged board members were previously in previous years, and I don't agree with that. Sorry for all those who might have been on the board last year, but
And for this year, you think it's pretty good?
I mean, the last year's board, they weren't as engaged as they could have been, from what I've heard anyway. And I feel as though that's something that should be changed. I feel as though because the board, I mean, we're to some extent we're making these decisions, and we need to know what it is that your battery is dying.
I know, it's okay.
Okay. I think we need to know what it is that we're making decisions on so that we can actually make wise decisions that will somehow benefit the student body. So if I'm as engaged as possible in all the portfolios, and I can contribute any way that I possibly can or anything, then I think I'm in a pretty decent spot. So, and the way I would measure the success would be I'd take, the simplest way I can think of is take a percentage value from find a percentage of negative comments out of the entire comment list that was given at the start of the year and compare that to a percentage of negative comments at the end and see what kind of change there is there.
Good. I was thinking about that last night. I did brand management, and I was like, oh, I should probably do like a brand audit report on us if anyone wants to join me. That'd be pretty fun.
It's so fun.
So fun, brand audit. Okay, thank you so much, Debbie.
I think Javon wants to speak first.
Okay, Javon.
Hello.
The Javon is so good.
Okay, speak.
So,
interpretation of our vision, I think like a lot of people already touched on it, and it's just basically I want everyone, in the community to know what's going on, like being in the loop. Like a lot of students, when I was in first and second year, I didn't know what was going on with the CUS or like what they did, and like this is my first time getting involved with it, so it's like I think it's really important to make sure that everyone just knows what's going on and that they feel like they're part of the community and that we're not like some, people who are just like controlling things on the top. Like we're actually people that are there to help them. That's my interpretation for the vision. The end goal as a team, I just want, to be able to look back at the end of next year and actually feel like we accomplished something, but we also had fun, and that it wasn't like we didn't have a lot of frustrating or angry moments, but it was just like overall we're like really happy. That's what I want our end goal to be, like everyone to just look back and see like that they have that they accomplished their goals and that they're very happy with what they did. And how will I contribute to this goal? Well, I want to be there to be able to help everyone. As ombuds, I'm not just there for like fairness and equity. I'm also here to listen to the concerns and whatever students have to say if they have any issues with anything, and just to be there to help people. So if anyone needs someone to talk to, then I just want to be there for them and to be able to help them.
And also, if anyone needs a good rap, hip hop playlist. Yeah, no shit.
I can't hear anyone, so I'm just talking to myself.
Okay. Yeah, you can keep talking to you.
But I think to measure our success is just as long as we stay accountable to our goals and that we're happy and that we actually had fun. I think that's like a tangible way to measure to see how we did. So yeah.
Thanks, Ruben.
Thank you.
Ryan, Rachel, and Daphne. Lots of
So I got like 80 seconds. So I'm going to watch the video and we're going to loop back performance for everyone.
Good luck.
Oh, dang! The reverberation in that cloud.
Bye, Raph.
Bye, good luck.
Good luck, Raffle.
Oh, thank you.
The team supports you. Woo!
We trust you.
We trust you. Trust and unity. Okay, Ryan. No, Debbie.
So for my interpretation of our vision, I put Dorothy words into my own words. For unity, I put inclusive and teamwork. So it's unity, that's what it means to me. Transparency is sort of like what you touched upon. It's like direct communication and having like both sides understanding what each side is doing, like education and lastly, involvement is to build an inclusive community. For me, same as a lot of you guys, in my first year, I didn't have a good impression of CUS. I didn't know what they were doing. I was involved in clubs, but I didn't know CUS sponsors them. I didn't know it was because of the CUS that all of these clubs could run so smoothly. So I hope in my term here as the third-year rep, I can do something and contribute, whether it's support or helping market or helping out with all of these events that CUS has.
Bye, Raffles.
Yes, yeah.
I think a lot of you guys covered what I was going to say for the end goal of the team, but it's basically to improve this relationship we have.
Can I have conversations later because everyone got a chance.
And to do something like ethical and sustainable and that adds value to students' university life. Great. How I could contribute to this goal. I was thinking, because a lot of students don't know that board meetings are actually open to students, what I could do or what I could think of for my contribution is to maybe bring this up to my friends, my classmates, or people I meet, say around 1 week or so before our actual meeting, like starting September, and invite them to come join us if they're interested, if they're passionate or want to listen about what we're all about. And this might trigger their interest to get involved and like apply, whether as an exec or as a board. Great.
I suddenly have a thought. Maybe we should do like a presentation about what the CUS is at Spark or something. Because I remember in my first year I went to Frosh and we never even had like a presentation on what Frosh was. I mean, what the CUS was. So I think it would be beneficial if we do that this year.
Regarding CUS, Alex and I making a video on you guys. So like we can incorporate that into it too.
And yeah.
I did a presentation last year.
Yeah, there's presentations. I'll probably be presenting it.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Or
Sorry,
I'll be
one
asking
question.
Shannon.
Yeah.
Did you guys say you guys are gonna?
Yeah, we're doing a
We're doing
CS 101
CS
video.
101 video.
Okay.
Oh, and also Taylor has an idea, organizational chart.
And I wanna make a giant org chart that can go on a lounge somewhere.
Hey,
So it's like an arts and crafts thing if anyone wants to come together. Yeah,
We
Rachel.
have like, like admin calendar,
But-
you flip it up and the face is there.
Taylor, can I just be at the top?
Wait, I think Rachel wants to speak.
Oh, he has to tell
Rachel?
Yeah,
Viva,
for
Viva.
the video,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't mind, maybe we can do a really quick external goals. We could just incorporate that in, if it's not too long. Just
Yeah.
to keep in mind. we
Yeah,
can
like
scrap that.
our video is more of like a breakdown of what, because we want to do it so that you can use it over and over again
Oh,
for the
yeah,
next year
okay,
after.
perfect.
So the goals would change on for
Yeah,
like team,
that
right?
makes
So we're just kind of doing like general CUS like goals and the structure of it, what we fund.
We could do a full people video.
Yeah, I guess you
That
could
could be a
put that
separate
out.
one.
Yeah.
Is,
Yeah.
is everyone in here supposed to be in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still planning it, so it's still in the early days.
Ideally, everyone here. We'll make Vanessa full herself in Montreal.
Okay,
Sorry, Debbie was finishing up.
I think I'm finished.
yeah, I think we're finished. I think it's Brian, Rachel, and Daphne. And then we can, oh yeah, and Bert.
Easter.
Okay, so
And my computer died, so just kind of like, I think like you get the notion of what we're trying to talk about, so.
So a lot of what I want to say is obviously said already, but I'd also like to say like interpretation of vision, trying to go with what we actually have on like constitutions, like enhancing the values that become degrees. So we do that by providing services. So the first year, it's like I honestly felt it was overwhelming. Like in business week, somebody gave me a brochure for the CUS. They wrote, oh, they have so many positions. I was like, then I was just told, oh, they have only 2 openings where you can apply for first year rep. And it's like, I didn't really get an understanding what the organization is, what they did, how they're exactly enhancing it, like my value of my degree. So it's like, you're doing so much for the students. It's like, do they even know you're doing that for the students? So that's why, as like you, Maddie, was saying, like make what we're doing a little more visible to the students. So I guess
It's fine, like we didn't really have to follow that structure, but.
And yeah, so my end goal for us as a team is I'd like the students like us better because I used to have
That was the cutest thing.
Yeah, I know. It was obvious in the survey that there was a great dislike for us. Sometimes no reason specified, they just hate us. So yeah, obviously they're just like outright hate, there's no reason at all. So so how I can contribute to that is like also when it's a lot more transparency. Like I feel like we have to really communicate that. So as a year rep, I feel like I can spread awareness, especially among my year groups. like, and not just be there. And you even mentioned, like, you only see you guys during elections and never again. So I was thinking, like, I don't know, something like even a boothing thing where we might give out stuff. I haven't really planned this out, but just something where we're there doing something, we tell them more, like even just be like a channel of information, like saying, oh, you can do this here or there, like direct the students, they can like hear.
Like a customer service information booth.
Probably. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it like something that we actually do something with students and not just be this body up there that makes decisions.
I think it's pretty cool if we had like a booth like that in the beginning of the year. It's probably a lot of first years that are like, even if it's like, what's good to order at Solder Calf? What's the bang for my buck? And they could like go to the booth and be like, I have a question. I need help. I think that's a really good idea. That's cool.
So yeah, and how we measure that, it's again like possibly another survey at the end of the year. And I'm not sure if we do our own thing. I remember from the YouTube.
Pam?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She called her spam.
She talked about us being so many surveys. I know we can integrate it into a single survey, but definitely see what the general percentage of the liking of the CUS is. So.
Cool. Great. Rachel.
Okay, to start, I think our vision for the CUS, my vision of the CUS, I think the question was, is that like I really agree with what Vanessa said, the upside down pizza. So you can't do anything without transparency. And we manage so much, like so many clubs and so many conferences can't run without our funding. And the students just don't know about it. So, so transparency is something we need to work on. So I think, as I said earlier, like you have to do transparency before we move on to anything else. And by the end of the year, I want our goal is, by the end of the year, I want every student that are asked, like, what does the CUS do? To be able to name one thing other than the lounge coffee, because that's ridiculous. We do so many conferences, they can just name any one. If we can do that, I know that's like asking for a lot, but if we can do that, that will be great, because, you know. And as my personal contribution as an AMS rep, it is a position that's elected, so I promise to carry out my duties and go to the AMS meetings, so I can provide up-to-date AMS updates at CUS meetings here. So I can keep all the solid student body updated, and I really like the live stream because like anyone who's curious, who doesn't know what CUS does, they can look at our videos, and they really have like no right to complain because we are putting it out there. Maybe we can market it better so they know more.
And not do it last minute.
Yeah, and so they know how to access it. And as for final evaluation of how we evaluate how well we did, I think just at the end of the last meeting, or we just organized a little discussion, just talk it over with board and exec members. And if we all feel like we did a good job, we probably did. And if we feel like we didn't, we probably didn't.
Great. And also to add with AMS rep, I think it's really important to also think about inter-faculty relationships too, right? Kind of not just think of us being in the CUS and so business only, but I think it's really important to foster those relationships with other faculties and to raise awareness within UBC as well. Thanks, Rachel.
So I guess when I heard the three words, transparency, unity, and involvement, I was just focusing more on, I guess transparency, Ben already talked about like being ethical, I think is really important, but I would like to focus on unity. To me, like unity both goes along with that, like I think as long as the board and the execs both get along very well and all the service commissions and everything, we can kind of exude that kind of atmosphere out onto the student body as well. As a new member, and this is my first time being involved in the CUS, I'd really like to see a bond between the execs and board. Personally, after speaking with Cole especially, I think something that's really important is that we have like socials or like perhaps like just dinner after like things like that to, you know, kind of make our relationship better. I think that's something that I feel like is very important with any organization, that we have that team bonding experience.
As for our end goal as a team, I really do believe that I'd like to see CUS have their reputation be better in both student society and with faculty as well. I think that's really important for that to establish trust afterwards, and to first have a good reputation, have credibility, and have people be able to want to rely on us and have us, give our hand like that. How I personally will contribute to this goal. As a second year rep, Brian and I really want to make boosts, really interact with people face to face rather than just online. And as a board member, I just want to be more involved with everybody's portfolio as the execs and really do my duty, read all the materials provided for each meeting, and just make sure that I have all the knowledge that I can personally have in order to make an educated and responsible vote. As a chairperson, I know I'm new and there are a lot of things that, this is a really big learning curve for me, and I just want to be able to do my best as the chairperson and in order to, gain respect from everybody and have credibility in that way. And I think that as the end of the time, when this is all over and all done, how we measure our success would be, I think survey is a good way to go. See, I know last time we released a survey, a lot of people responded to our first year survey out of most of the time it was out of spite, just they wanted to tell us how awful they thought about the CUS.
Okay, there were some good things too.
Yeah, there were some good things, but I wanted to be at the end of this year that they go out of their way to say something good because they want us to hear that they really enjoyed this time around, how things were. And I think, I would like to just have fun with everybody as well.
And then I think Roop had a couple.
Yep, I will read this out. Okay.
Is he even online or?
He is, he's not
I trust him.
Okay, so his interpretation of our vision is that for him, it's about adding value to the Slaughter community and making sure that the Slaughter experience is maximized. End goal. So he wants for people to realize that the CUS presents amazing opportunities and is very much a huge value added to the community that it's trying to benefit students and teach them. He's also acknowledging that there's a negative stigma attached to the CUS, which we talked about, which is a product of CUS. I don't know what it means. Something. Psyche? Is that a word? Okay, cool.
What does that word mean?
I don't know.
It's pizzazz or
Oh.
passion.
Oh, okay, cool. Learned something new today.
Part of the psyche, due to the fact that we are not as well advertised and promoted as we should be. So overall, the goal should be to impact students positively and let them know that we did what we did. How will he contribute? So he wants to manage most of the conferences of the EP. His contribution will primarily be through ensuring a sound execution of the events. For the most part, it's been done amazingly, but there's always room for improvement. This year, we have a unique opportunity with NSC, which represents an in potential career. So he's talking about consulting being a good career choice, I guess. I also want to make sure that our events truly drive the value that they promise. This can be ensured through accountability and really keeping an ear to the Slaughter community and making sure that we hear the students out. So how is he measuring success? In all honesty, it's very difficult to measure success other than just feeling out the general atmosphere within the community. Last year, CUS left a slightly sour taste in the mouths of many students, and there wasn't any reporting that showed this. There was feedback surveys. Rather, it was just a feeling that was obvious to the excluded emotions of the student's body. So overall, we would know we are successful by feeling the same emotions through our pulse. Okay. Beyond that, we can measure it by looking at many different services that we offer and measure their execution.
Great. So we've pretty much gone around the table to really talk about, now we have an idea of what everyone's goals are. And I totally get it. This was on the whim, but
But I'm hoping that for the accountability reports, you can build on those ideas and to make them more elaborate than the ones that you've had. And it could be completely different than the ones you've had. You might have just like pulled something out of your to say something, right? But thank you so much, everyone. And I look forward to an amazing year. And I'm just so happy that I'm able to leave, Vancouver knowing that I have a really strong team. And yeah, I'm gonna cry, but not yet. And I also just kind of want to say that I would rather have 4-hour, 5-hour meetings with people that are passionate, that are willing to talk about what they feel, to have debates, to have opinions, then I would rather have a 10-minute, or 30-minute board meeting where everyone just says yes, or everyone just says no, because they're uncomfortable, they're scared, or they just don't see a value in this. So that's all I have to say, and I want everyone to get up and group hug to end the meeting.
Yeah.
Group hug! Come over! I don't know if you want to do like group hug to end this meeting because we suspended Robert's rules, but group hug. Are you missing someone? I am so tiny. Are you sitting outside? Are you missing anyone? Okay. So before we do a group hug, I just want to say that, well, this is like, yeah. But I just want to say that we've accomplished so much and we haven't even been here for like a month. And I've already heard fantastic things. I feel fantastic about this team. And everyone's been performing, everyone's impressed. And everyone has really good goals. So thank you. I know.
See you on 3.
Yes. See you on 3. 1, 2, 3. See you. Okay, and I guess that's a good end for the minutes. You could just be like, motion to amend. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching.